magic of the Sunstone. You're tuned into the Jewel Riders Archive.
Come along, come and sing our song. Gather round, together we'll grow strong.
Hey, Jewel fans. I'm Chris.
And I'm Ronnie from the Jewel Riders Archive.
Welcome back to our Season 1 episode reviews. You know, the things we should have done in the beginning of the podcast.
Yes. But here we are, 10 years later, finally doing it.
Here we are, indeed. Today, we've got our final 4 episodes of Season 1. Do you want to tell the listeners what we're talking about today?
Of course. We've got a Drake episode, Love
Ooh
Struck.
la la.
Yes. We have a fun 90s episode, Dreamfields.
Actually,
and,
one of my favorites, but we'll get into that.
and then we've got the season finale, Revenge of the Darkstone and Full Circle.
We'll touch on this a little bit later, but I got surprisingly emotional watching those yesterday before
Aww.
this. So it was kind of fun to revisit. You know, I have not actually revisited a lot of these in a really long time.
Well, then I guess that maybe that's why you were emotional.
Maybe
because
that's why.
It wasn't overexposed.
I mean, that's possible. You know, since we've kind of dialed things really back with the archive, you know, we haven't been, you know, fire hosed in the face with Jewel Riders.
You mean by not doing it 24/7, you mean you can actually enjoy it?
It's kind of funny. It's kind of sad that, like, to enjoy the thing again, you have to kind of, like, stop doing the thing.
I mean, that's the way it is a lot of times. Because
Alas.
it's just like with like hobbies, you know, you can say like, oh, I love writing or I love painting or I love, you know, whatever it is. But as soon as it becomes like a job or a career, then suddenly that fun sometimes, not always, gets taken out of it because then it's like, oh, I've got to do this, not because I want to, it's because I have to.
Right. It's everyone who tries to make their hobby side hustle into a job.
Exactly. So speaking of side hustles, you want to talk about the first episode? We've got Drake's side hustle over here.
He's a hustler, all right. All right. So, a little background on this episode. The title obviously is Love Struck, written by James Matson, who we have actually interviewed on the podcast in a previous episode. And the original air date was November 12, 1995. And you want to give us the episode summary?
So Drake pulls a greedy magic sword from a tree at a craft fair. One of the many craft fairs that they have.
I know, so many.
With the sword as his coach, Drake tries some magic love poems on Gwen, Fallon, and Tamara, ending up with plans to take each of them out to the dance that night. When the sword tries to steal the magic of the enchanted jewels, Drake has to call off his wedding to a pig in order to save Avalon.
If you were
Sounds
just
spooky.
reading this summary for the first time and you were like, what the hell is this show about?
I mean, after watching the show, you're still like, what the hell did I just watch?
Exactly. This episode truly, to me, harkens back to those old-timey, like, farce plays of the, you know, the 1920s and 30s where, you know, if you could have had a scene where everybody was running in and out of doors, like Scooby-Doo-esque, it would not have been out of place in this episode.
Yes, I get you. So it's almost like a burlesque. Like, is that what you're thinking? Like,
I would say
comedy-wise?
more like it's just like a very farcical comedy.
Okay.
I mean, we've definitely, there's a few episodes like this throughout the show. Travel Trees Can't Dance kind of comes to mind as another one. Mm-hmm. But this one, you know, this episode not tied to any enchanted jewel directly or any crown jewel. It's
the
really
third non-crown jewel episode too.
yeah,
So
you know,
if we
since
make
we
that
had-
differentiation.
We had our Badlands episode for Fallon, our Home Sweet Hearthstone for Tamara, and now we have Love Struck for Drake, kind of giving each of our main characters,
Non-Gwenevere
main characters, yes,
Yes.
their own little spotlight episode. So I have to mention that in script for this episode, it says like the man who has the magic sword trick in the tree, his name is just Carney, a sly carnival barker, which I just thought, like, we didn't bother naming him, but somehow he's just Carney. And yet, they have named the baby sheep, finally, from Fairyland as Harley, which, of course, biker sheep.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
I just
why
enjoyed that
did they-
small random.
I'm like, but why did they even mention Harley in Lovestruck? I don't
I
remember
know.
seeing the sheep
So
anywhere.
I think this is a relatively early
Draft of the script.
draft of this because Tamara is actually listed as Harmony,
Oh, she's still Harmony, huh?
singer, comma, baby animal wrangler.
Baby animal. Is she Alex or is she Fallon?
She's
Does it say?
Fallon in this, so
Okay. So Tamara's
just-
just the one with the
and-
identity
and
crisis.
interestingly, in the script itself, she's actually Tamara.
Okay.
So I don't know, but apparently Harley was also supposed to be there at the outdoor stage when she does her little show. But anyway, let's
Well,
do a
there's
little
peacocks.
summary of the episode here.
Yes.
So, episode opens. The Carney uses some sort of magic to put the magic sword in the tree with this idea that if you can pull the magic sword from the tree, it can grant any wish that you desire, which is, of course, a carnival trick because nobody is really supposed to be able to pull this sword out of the tree. The episode also opens with Drake basically at a joke stall. He puts some fake, vampire teeth in his mouth and growls at Thunder, who then growls back in kind of a funny little moment. Mm-hmm. It's like it's like if you put a wig on, your dog doesn't know who you are or something.
Yes.
So, and then Drake gets one of those very 1990s hand buzzer things where you go to shake somebody's hand, and he uses it on Gwenevere, who gets upset, and then he tries to ask her to the dance that night, and she says, "I wouldn't go with you if you were the last boy in Avalon." And then Sunster goes, and they leave.
Yes.
So after this interaction, Drake sees the sword in the tree, and we should mention, of course, that the sword is alive. It's not just a magic sword, it's a talking magic sword with a face, and the little hilt becomes its arms. It's very ridiculous looking.
Yes.
And the sword wants magic, and it sees Drake's forest stone, and so it can do something with the jewel in its hilt to manipulate enchanted jewels. And so the sword goes and, uses its magic to get itself out of the tree. Drake has the sword now, and the sword causes Drake to push the Carney into the tree, who gets sucked in the same way the magic sword was originally.
It's almost like a wild magic like portal or something where you kind of
It's
fall in.
like a little pocket dimensional portal thing. And
Yes.
I'm like, that seems kind of dangerous for a carnival for children.
But I mean, it seems like the Carney has been doing it for years because he's like, not that old sword in the tree trick again. That's what the sword
Exactly.
tells him. So it's something that they've obviously been doing for a while. The thing that I will also say, because we kind of jumped there, so that was at the beginning of the episode, and then when Drake is walking around with the sword, that's when he goes to the is it afterwards or is it before the stall? Now I forgot. Was it before? He sees Gwen and then the sword, and then he goes back to Gwen, doesn't he?
So the original part where the Carney puts the sword in the tree, Drake is not there.
Okay.
We have that scene. Then we have Drake at the joke shop booth with Gwen and their little altercation.
That's when the Carney calls Drake over to the tree, isn't it? Yes.
Actually, no, before that, there's
No?
the scene with Tamara and the peacocks.
Oh my goodness gracious. Which is where Harley should have been.
Which is where Harley
apparently.
should have been, yes.
Okay. I
Never
got you.
animated into the thing. This is where Drake,
It's kind of
after
like Song of the Rainbow Part 2.
a little bit, yeah. It's a callback to Tamara's performances from that
Right.
episode.
She's always performing at these events.
Poor thing. Like the rest of the people just get to go, like enjoy it, and she's got to go perform.
I mean, and then you got the Tamara groupies always, the same people that follow her around the
Yes,
kingdom.
the same
watching her same
crazy-looking
performance.
background people.
Well, it was even, I think it was the Field of Magic song, wasn't it? Like, I heard the pieces of it.
Uh-huh.
So that's why I thought of that, too. They just love that tune. That's their favorite song in the
the
kingdom.
one they just play on repeat over and over again.
It's their bop, let me tell you.
Yeah, so actually, before Drake pulls the sword out of the tree, he tries to go use the hand buzzer on Tamara before her show.
Yes.
And she's like, "Oh, Drake, there's a bug on your head." And he hits his own head with the hand buzzer.
Yes.
In addition to trying to use the buzzer, Drake, having been shot down by Gwen, also tries to ask Tamara to the dance. And she's like, "Oh, well, I think I'll be too busy. Why don't you ask Gwen?"
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Good idea.
Yeah. So then we have Tamara's little performance. You know, she uses her heartstone with 3 random peacocks. Mm-hmm. I do have to admit, though, that it's funny to see Archie kind of become like a carnival barker for Tamara. He's like, "Ladies and gentlemen, back by popular demand, Tamara and the magical babies."
Mm-hmm.
And then Tamara's groupies appear.
She's all over the place. All right, let's get to now, because we already talked about Drake pulling the sword out of the tree, right? And then he falls back in, and then now Drake has the sword.
Drake has the sword. Tamara does her performance. After Drake pulls the sword and the carney's been knocked into the tree, Drake starts talking to the sword, and he's like, Drake's like, "You can talk." And the sword's like, "Sure, doesn't everyone?" Drake thinks it's a fake, but the sword heard Drake's wish, which was, you want women to fall in love with you, because he's been turned down so many times now. The sword's like, "Stick with me, blah, blah, blah."
Oh, he's the pimp.
Basically, yes. He's pimping Drake out to all the women.
I don't know who got the better end of that stick.
I know. So Drake, now that he's got the sword, he comes up behind Gwen at another booth and covers her eyes with his hands. He's like, "Guess who?" And she's like, "Oh, don't tell me. It's someone I don't ever want to see again."
Yes.
Gwen is very sassy in this episode, and I'm absolutely here for it. And then he's like, "Does this mean you still don't want to go to the dance with me?" Oh, and then this is where she says, "I wouldn't go to the dance with you if you were the last boy in Avalon." Mm-hmm. And so Drake is like, "She didn't fall in love with me. You're a fake. I'm getting rid of you." But in the meantime, the sword has noticed, the Heartstone and the Moonstone from Fallon over playing with the archery booth. And it's like, look at all this magic. There's power here just waiting to be tapped. When Drake tries to throw away the sword, it knocks him into a booth selling bubbleberry pies. And so Drake has pie all over his face now.
Which is, I guess, somewhat of a metaphor, but yes.
Yes. So Drake goes back to Tamara, and he's trying to be smooth and, work it for his pimp, I guess.
Yes.
"So, Tamara, how about changing your mind about going to the dance with me?"
Because all through this episode, apparently no doesn't mean no, and consent is not a thing that we talked about in 1995, apparently.
Big time, like, if this episode came out today, there would be, people would have problems.
I mean, because it's almost like you've already talked to Gwenevere like 2 other times, and then you're going to try a 3rd time, and she's already told you no. And
You're
so
going
it's like,
back
okay.
to Tamara.
Right, and it's like, well, I guess when she said no, it just meant no in that moment. I mean, today's a new day, apparently. I'm going to try again, And it's like, it's all for trying, but at the same time, it's just like, what are we telling children at the same time?
I mean, to be fair, this is very product of its time. Mm-hmm. In terms of that kind of stuff, unfortunately.
Right. And I think that, like what you were saying, where it's more just like a comedy, like I don't think that we were really taking into consideration, like, okay, like what is really PC or what is ethically right versus let's make it funny,
Well, yeah, because if we're talking about if it's PC, this episode has mental manipulation of people to go out with somebody, which is like no good.
Also when you were talking about how the sword manipulated on his jewel, though, but the way that I always saw it, I just saw it as like mind control because it's on his head. So he's putting his hands to his head, almost like someone who has like magic power, like who can control people that way. So it's very Professor Xavier.
Yeah, and we should say that the sword, in no point in this episode is it shown to be able to manipulate people who don't have enchanted jewels. So, like, when it uses its magic, the jewel, on Gwen or Tamara light up, and then you kind of see this, like, magic around their eyes or their face.
Almost like a sleeping mask.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes, it's to show that they're under the spell.
Yeah, so kind of funnily, Drake is like, can't you see on my face how I feel about you to Tamara? And of course, they all start laughing because his face is like half covered in pie. Drake, second shoot down with Tamara after this. So the sword is like, well, women like men who are well spoken, poetry, love songs, that sort of stuff. And Drake says, I don't know anything about poetry or love songs. Finally, here we are. Third time he approaches Gwen, and Drake says this ridiculous poem to her, which is, Gwenevere, is there any name as dear? Lovely one, your radiance outshines the sun. Princess fair, your beauty could, And then Gwen is like, what? And then the sword gives him the last line, which is, your beauty could kill a bear. And then Drake's like, she's never going to talk to me again. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
But she already wasn't going to talk to you again,
Exactly.
So it doesn't really matter.
It's like how low are you going to dig this hole that you're in with Gwen?
I mean, forget a shovel. You've got a knife to keep digging with.
Right.
Yes. So she's manipulated.
So Gwen is manipulated, says, that's the sweetest thing I've ever heard. Did you write it just for me? And she's like, the dance tonight. You will go with me, won't you? So Gwen leaves and Drake is celebrating. He's like, oh my gosh, it worked. And then the sword is like, oh, yes, sure, it worked. We better just try it on somebody else just to be safe.
And of course, there's no other girls or single women in the country other than these three girls.
Than these three girls. And obviously the sword is manipulating it because it wants enchanted jewels.
He wants the jewels, yes. Yes.
So...
I mean, Drake's a handsome man. I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like Gaston. Like, maybe he has, a couple of girls that go around after him, but all he really wants is just the same three girls.
So you're saying somewhere in a craft fair are three bimbettes for Drake?
Exactly. They really are. They're singing about him. And,
oh my gosh. In his tavern.
Exactly. That's the way I see it. I mean, when you look at Drake, it's like, you're handsome. Like, I'm sure that somewhere out there...
His biceps are fucking huge.
There would be some girl or guy who wants to go out with you, but you just... want that girl that keeps telling you no, and you're going to keep going after them. Yes.
So Drake, under the sword's guidance, is going to try it on Tamara again. Another terrible, ridiculous poem. Tamara, only you I see. No other one's as sweet to me. Tender one. Oh, this is actually a different version in...
He's reading the script, by the way.
I'm reading these out of the script, and I was like...
Okay, read me what it says.
Okay, so Tamara, it's only you I see. No other one's as sweet to me. Tender one, charms that make me come undone. My Valentine, to woo you I'd kiss a porcupine.
That one doesn't as flow as well.
I mean, the middle is different. I think it's tender... Gosh, I can't remember exactly what it says in the show itself. But it does still end in the show with kiss a porcupine.
Yes, I remember that one. But it didn't rhyme as well as kill a bear.
No. And Tamara's like, that's the most beautiful song I've ever heard. Drake's like, it was? And then Cleo also says, it was?
There's Cleo again.
Exactly. I love Cleo so much. She's
Well,
always
it's
good.
Karine R. That's why.
Yes, it's like she's always good for a little ridiculous reaction.
So now we've got Tamara on the
now we've
roster
got
as well.
Tamara. Of course, he's going to be like, oh, let's try this on Fallon too. So he comes and gets on one knee in front of Fallon. She's like, Drake, are you all right? And then one of my favorite lines in the episode, Boondance says, something wrong with your leg?
Yes.
And so Drake uses his poem on Fallon. Oh, Fallon, sweetest girl in Avalon, I'm starstruck. You bring joy and love and luck. So sublime compared to you, I'm purple slime.
I mean, that works. And that's not really a dig at her. Like, that's
No.
I mean, in a way that puts him down. Like,
Right.
he's saying that you're so beautiful. So I don't really feel like this is really a
Yeah,
dig at her.
that one's not like your beauty could kill a bear. Like
Exactly. Yes. I mean, even in the Middle Ages, I suppose they had different sensibilities. Maybe that was a compliment. I don't know.
And then Fallon, purple slime. That's the sweetest thing I've ever heard.
It sounds like she might really go for Ivan Ooze from the Power
Oh
Rangers
my
movie.
goodness. Also from 1995.
Oh,
Kids.
yes, it is. Yes. Okay, so now we've got Fallon lined up. So we've got Gwen, Tamara, and Fallon. And I think that that's the reaction that Drake has.
Yeah, so it's like, I've got a date with Tamara at 8. I've got a date with Fallon at 8. I've got a date with Gwenevere at 8. And he's now freaking out because he realizes he's put himself in a pretty ridiculous position. We then move to scene change to the crystal carriage where the girls are getting ready. We should all say that these are brand new party dresses that we have never seen before in the show.
But we'll see again.
We will see again. Inside the crystal carriage, the girls are all getting ready, and they don't know yet that Drake has asked each one of them.
It's obviously a secret because they say, like, oh, who's the lucky guy? Tell me, tell me.
Yeah, and Tamara's like, you'll never believe it. I still can't believe it.
Yes.
And, Fallon pulls aside a curtain and comes out, and Fallon looks gorgeous in this episode. Like, as always, Fallon somehow looks the best, and Tamara looks like a Versailles reject.
Yes, I never did actually think about it that way.
Yeah.
But yes, it's very much at the time.
Fallon's like, well, I can't believe I let myself get tucked into this. It's kind of weird. And then she's like, well, I'm going with Drake. And then Gwen and Tamara smile. She's like, oh, that's nice. Oh, that's sweet. And then they look at each other. Drake? Who are you guys going with? Drake! And then they all, get angry. And, Fallon's like, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. And then Gwen starts to plot.
And that's where it gets good.
Yes. And then we cut again to Drake trying to get help from Josh, who doesn't believe him about the talking sword. And so Drake is really on his own. But it's a nice little moment between Drake and Josh. We don't get too many, moments between the pack boys like that. But Josh gives him this advice at the end, remember, son, a moving target is harder to hit. We go into the castle where they're having the dance that night. Gwen's sitting on a reclining couch. She has a fan that's, perfectly suited to her outfit, waving it in front of her face. And, chats with Drake a little bit on the couch. Drake is about to kiss Gwen, and then she suddenly stands up. He falls over, and Gwen says, oh, look, it's Lord Batten. I must go say hello. But save the next dance for me. Yes, recurring character, Lord Batten.
I can't believe it.
Who does not appear physically in this episode, but who is...
He's mentioned.
Is mentioned, yeah.
So rare that we re-mention people.
I know. It's like one of the very few characters. So Drake gets, cartoon hearts and bluebirds, and... because she does give him a little kiss on the cheek as she's leaving to go say hi to Batten. The sword's like, come on, now's your chance to check out the next one. So Drake goes to Tamara, and they have a little interlude where the babies start playing, romantic music. Cleo's playing a horn, literally. It's like, I love that little thing. And so, Drake is going to kiss Tamara now, And of course, he does not. Sugar leans in and he kisses Sugar instead. Tamara's like, oh, dance with me, Drake. And Drake is like, yes, let's dance. And then the sword's like, no, you promised the princess the next dance. So Drake tells Tamara one of the most ridiculous lines in this episode. It's like, I just remembered. Thunder's double parked.
Because Thunder couldn't move himself.
Exactly.
Yes.
So, all right. So once Drake runs away from Tamara, then he's tripped by a row of potted palm trees, and who should appear but Fallon? And she picks him up off the floor, and she's like, are you all right? And then she just lets him fall to the floor again after he says he's fine.
Well, remember, this is their whole plot. This is their plan. They're angry at him.
Which is why it's so humorous.
This is the original Me Too revenge story.
Exactly. So Fallon's like, I've been giving this a lot of thought ever since you sang me that beautiful song, and we should get married tonight. We can elope.
And apparently this is a really bad thing for the character, because he gets scared at the last minute about all of this.
A classic man in the 1990s thing. I want women to fall in love with me, not marry them.
Heaven forbid.
I know. And then she's like, she uses the first of the little ridiculous nicknames, my little Drakester.
Mm-hmm.
And so Fallon says, meet me in the square at midnight. We're going to be so happy. And she uses her moonstone to push him out across the dance floor like through the mezzanine and straight into traffic.
And right under the next woman's foot.
Yes. So he slides like a hockey puck across the floor until a heel presses down on him.
And stabs him in the chest.
Exactly. So Gwen's got a rose between her teeth, and she yanks him to his feet, and she's like, dance the tango with me, Drakey, the dance of love.
And for the first time, they're actually doing the right dance, because in the last one in Travel Trees Can't Dance, she's like, that's the fox doing the foxtrot. I'm like, that's not the foxtrot.
Exactly. And just wait till Dreamfields, where it's not a square dance either.
Exactly, yes.
Oh.
So they tango.
So they do the tango. And the script says, a spotlight illuminates them as Gwen puts him through the paces of an extremely athletic tango. He's dragged and dropped and bounced. I love Gwen's sort of like supernatural strength and just basically throwing him around in this sequence. And then Gwen, obviously, part of the plan, I think we should elope tonight. And then, meet me in the square at midnight. The music ends. She spins Drake, and he spins like a top inside of a pinball machine, hitting the trees. Yeah, with that little ching 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 sound that a pinball machine makes, which is like, again, it just adds
comedy
to the farcical elements of this episode. And then finally, he spins into Tamara's arms, who's my little Drake cake.
Oh, the ultimate of the
the little
names.
Drake cake line comes from here.
Uh-huh.
She's like, I can't hold back these feelings any longer. We should get married tonight. And then Drake says, oh no. But the sword says, oui, da, si, jawo. And then Tamara replies, just wunderbar.
Yes.
And then, of course, meet me by the tree in the square at midnight. So now we are in the square. I mean, it makes me laugh because it's like, he could have just stood them up if he didn't really want to get married to one of them. But here he comes to the square.
Remember, saying no is not an option, apparently.
Exactly.
Ever. By anyone.
Especially if a magic sword can throw you around.
Mm-hmm. Maybe he was in fear of his, well-being. Maybe the sword threatened him. Who knows? We don't know.
So, underneath the tree, a girl wearing a veil. Drake cannot tell who it is. Archie is standing there by her. And then, of course, in the background, there's Moondance, Sunstar, and the babies all there. So he's no idea who this is. He's like, I don't even know which one it is. The sword's like, what's the difference? They're all great girls. And I'm like, oh, is this Avalon's Sister Wives about to start happening here? So Archie performs the ceremony, and instead of lawfully, it becomes your awfully wedded and your awfully wedded wife. And so
I think it's a little
once
bit
the
of a
ceremony
clue.
comes to the kiss, of course, Drake pulls back the veil, and there's a pig, Miss Piggy, right there. Don't ask me how they got the pig to stand up as tall as a human inside of this dress,
Right.
but
Because then when it runs away, it's just the pig. It's not
clearly
standing
just
on anything.
normal pig, right?
Yes.
So that always made me laugh. So the girls come out from behind the tree. They're laughing, can't take a joke. Tara was like, she's such a pretty pig. So the sword's like, someone's going to get married tonight or else.
And then they're like, who's that?
Exactly. Like the girls have not encountered the sword at all, really, in its, talking form.
They don't know what,
Yeah.
that Drake had an accomplice, essentially.
Yeah. So the sword glues everyone's feet to the ground, and then the sword's like, let the wedding begin. And Drake, instead of like saying no, he's like, wait, I don't even have a wedding ring.
Well, I think he was trying to say, like, I can't do this because of this, hoping that would stop him.
And then the sword makes him take the little hand buzzer, and the hand buzzer gets transformed into 3 rings. Each ring has a mini sun, moon, and heartstone on it. The sword says, I'll marry the sunstone, I'll marry the moonstone, I'll marry the heartstone. And the rings start to draw the magic out of the enchanted jewels.
Draining the jewels again. It's going to be a theme.
It's a theme. Stay tuned for another episode. So the sword becomes like 20 feet high.
It's Ursula.
It is. You're right. It's Ursula from The Little Mermaid.
The same climax.
And it's even yelling like that. Once it was the warrior who wore the sword, and now it's the sword who wears the warrior. It's like, oceans obey my command.
Right. It's that booming voice.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So Gwen is like, well, if it's magic it wants, it's magic we'll give it. We need jewel power. They raise their jewels, transform. I've always thought this scene is hilarious because it's clearly 3 separate cells placed together because the glue is like over other characters.
Yes. Like, it annoyed me because of the way, if you watch it, there's a blooper because essentially like one of the like layers of glue is over one of the other character's foot, and it's just the way that it fades. It annoyed me as a kid. Like I saw it.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you can't unsee it. It's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. So they power up and they start hitting the sword with all the magic that they have. Drake adds the magic of the Forest Stone, and then once they're all hitting it, the sword can't take any more magic in, and it explodes. And the sword is like, you're not done with me yet. I'm small, but I'm persistent. So Drake throws the sword back into the tree, which releases the Carney. And For reasons, from whatever weird little I'm like, okay, so that man would have just been trapped in that tree forever.
Well, not just that though, but I just mean like, we've never established, like we established that the tree can kind of like hold on to an object if it's placed somewhat there. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, once you fall inside, okay, so what? Throwing the sword into the tree suddenly releases the person? That was never said before.
Yeah. The Carney's like, oh, well, I hope the sword didn't cause you too much trouble. And Drake's like, did he? Gwen's like, trouble? And then Tamara's like, well, we enjoyed having it around. And Gwen's like, how about you leave it here with us for a while? And Drake and the sword are just, no. And then it ends in a, sitcom laugh ending that this show, I realize, has so many of.
I can only think of Who the Bell Trolls.
Oh,
Is there other ones?
Dreamfields also ends in a laugh.
I guess so, yeah. Okay. And was it Travel Trees Can't Dance?
Yes, Travel Trees Can't Dance.
I danced with a hippo.
I danced with a dweezil.
Oh, whatever it is.
Oh, you guys ever had a hippo step on your hoof?
Yes, one of those. Yeah, that's another laugh ending as well. Okay, they do it a lot.
It's a 90s thing.
It's a 90s thing, you little middle-aged man.
Exactly. So this episode, as a child, I actually did not like this episode. because I thought it kind of like made too
You
much
wanted
light
action?
of Drake.
Oh.
But as an adult, I actually enjoy this episode a lot for the ridiculous farcical elements and, spinning Drake like a top and being a pinball machine. And it's fun. It's got those double reveals, when they're in the crystal carriage. And I mean, I won't say it's a good episode. I won't go that far.
Well, we have our jewel system, so are you ready to rate it?
Yeah, I think I will give it 3 jewels.
Okay. We're in agreement because I'm also going to give it 3 jewels as
Okay.
well. Love Struck gets 3 jewels.
Yeah, not a horrible episode, not a great episode, but a fun episode, I would say.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so our next episode then takes us to
Dreamfields.
Fields.
Yes, written by Robin Young, written a couple of these episodes. The original air date for this is November 19th, 1995.
So Gwen runs off into the dream fields of the Great Plains when she becomes bored with her date at a nearby party. In the dream fields, there is a crown jewel releasing dream magic. Gwen becomes caught in a battle of dreams with Kale, who is also trying to find the crown jewel. In a wild dream, Kale switches Gwen's sunstone with her darkstone, and Gwen must rely on her friends to help her fight the nightmares of the darkstone.
I will say, just listening to that synopsis, I almost feel like they made it sound a little bit more than what it is.
A little more dramatic.
Yes, that's what I would say. So let's kind of take it from the opening. And I want to say there is also an animation blooper here, but yet another party that they are attending.
Another craft fair party.
Yes. So Drake and Tamara are here together. We open up kind of like panning into it with an overhead view, which is kind of fun because
It's a very odd camera angle for the show, yeah.
And this is where the animation blooper is. I don't know if you saw it, but Tamara suffers again. Her back has been painted the same color as her dress, even though there's supposed to be an opening in the back.
Yeah,
so
she's supposed to have that open back on her dress, yeah.
Her skin was painted green, and it just upset me when I was watching that.
Even now at 40, it's
and
upsetting.
am I going to change it? Am I going to correct it? No, we're not going to go that far. I'm just going to sit here and be angry at it.
Well,
so
you did enough correcting her hair in Jewel Quest.
Yes,
so.
and also the audio corrections in the Fairy Princess. So we've got Drake and Tamara at this event, and then we have the recurring character of the year, apparently, Batten. Lord Batten is back for yet another party date with Gwenevere. So he is her date this time.
Is this the second time we've seen him in person? Because we see him at the end of Badlands and then again here, yeah.
Because that was the whole thing in Badlands, and she tells Fallon that cute Lord Batten will be there, and then Lord Batten is a stuck-up clod. You make it sound like attending a party with handsome guys is punishment. See, this is why we rated Badlands so high, because we can still quote it.
Don't forget, you gave the Fairy Princess a better rating than Badlands.
And apparently Chris is going to hold that against me.
I will absolutely.
just in the moment, how I felt. I can't help how I feel. Anyway, so we've got Lord Batten again, and Gwenevere is unhappy with her date. So when he offers to bring drinks, Drake takes the drink, he hands it to Tamara and to Gwenevere, and then he's left with no drink.
I always like the little line where Batten's like, Gwenevere, this is the 4th time you've sent me for punch.
That hussy, she's trying to talk to other men while you're gone.
I was like, because, in the beginning, Gwen asks Drake, like, oh, Drake, I'm so thirsty. Can you get us some punch?
Well, that's what he says.
And
why don't you
of
have
course,
your
she
date
probably wants
do it?
to, dish the dirt with Tamara for a minute there.
Oh, who knows what she thinks? We don't know. In fact, we're going to find out that we don't know because she doesn't really know sometimes what she thinks. In the process of taking the drinks, then the band starts up. And I think that you mentioned this earlier when they start to dance. And Batten's like, the dancing here is so square. And then Gwen, just exhausted, is like, it's a square dance baton. Oh, that makes sense. Oh, you look good. Thinking he's talking about her. Guinevere
Yes.
looks over and really he's just looking in
He's
a
looking in a
mirror.
mirror at himself. I was like, I love that little interaction so much.
I mean, again, I don't understand it, but like, she is the princess. She should have an entourage of men from other kingdoms, from somewhere that she can go to these functions instead of these same men that she has no interest in. I
Well,
guess.
as we will hear later in this episode, during one of the dreams, Gwen's like, I'm the only princess around here. And so I'm like,
Exactly. So
are
she
there
should have
other
no
kingdoms?
competition.
Like,
No, there is, because don't forget, like in later episodes, she goes to christenings in other kingdoms.
oh, I mean, I always thought those were just like
Lords and
nobles.
ladies?
Lords and ladies, yeah.
Oh, maybe it is. Well, we'll have to discuss that again when we get to it. I always thought that it was in other kingdoms. Either way, she should have better suitors. I mean,
I know, it's like, really? The princess gets nobody but Lord Batten, huh?
right.
Like,
And then the irony of these two budded episodes is that Drake, who then wanted her in one episode, suddenly has no interest in her. And on top of that, in the previous episode, Tamara was like, no, I have plans. She didn't really say like she doesn't want to go with him, but she's just like, I don't want to go with you to this dance. But yet then they're out on a date together in this episode.
right.
So it's just very wishy-washy over here. Like, everyone is just back and forth with what they feel.
Welcome to the Avalon OC.
Apparently, it's just the dating game over here. Back and forth with different partners.
Right.
Who's it going to be today? We don't know. So then it's alluded to the fact that they should be looking for the crown jewel to tell us that this is the next to the last crown jewel that we're looking for, the jewel of the Dreamfields. And so then, I guess, just annoyed at everything, Guinevere just up and leaves the party and suddenly changes. She was in her regular deluxe adventure outfit, and suddenly now she's in this brand new outfit, which again, I'm never certain of if they made new outfits to sell toys or if the toys were made because they made new outfits. I don't know. We'll never know. Greg says one thing, but then other people say other things, so
You know, I always have to think like, okay, you gave her this tartan pattern skirt. Those are a pain to animate.
yes,
you know?
because we're drawing by hand in these episodes. Yes.
And so to me, it's like that toy had to have come first.
But also, one,
Which, by the
color
way,
palette,
Sun Power Guinevere, by the way, I think we forgot to
Yes.
mention.
well, she's not named in the episode, but yes,
No,
that is
but
the toy title.
yeah.
Yes. And if you want to hear more of us talk about the toy, just watch the archive showcase episode for Sun Power Guinevere to listen more about our commentary.
Or
on
as I
it.
think we called her, Jackie O. Guinevere.
Yes. Yes. Because she has the whole headscarf ensemble.
Yes. I will say I actually really love this outfit.
Oh,
and
I
I'm-
do too.
And I'm sad it only makes an appearance in this episode.
Well, maybe it goes back to like what you said. It's just the fact that the animation, it's hard to animate it because you've
Pain in the
created
ass to
this,
draw. Yeah.
You've created this, pattern that even on the toy, and that's what I was going to say, is that they used a clear plastic piece for her skirts. They didn't even paint the different colors and everything like that. So again, watch the archive showcase episode for Sun Power Guinevere to hear us talk more
Yeah,
about her
I'll
design.
link that in the show notes.
So she and Sunstar are flying, and somewhere along the lines, we are meant to know that either she has fallen asleep or they've somehow passed into this dream realm. We're not really sure. But the point
Yeah.
is that she happens upon a castle, and they
We
land
should
on top
also
of-
say that her conversation with Sunstar,
Oh,
is-
well, I
is
can
where-
yes.
she's like, she basically complains to Sunstar that she doesn't have a parade of suitors.
And that she wishes that Drake would do what he's supposed to do, which
Mm-hmm.
is funny because, I mean, that's kind of like a line what I would probably use. Like, don't you know, as my boyfriend, you're supposed to just do this thing? Like, you're supposed to read my mind and just know exactly what it is
Yes.
that I want. Ronnie say that? He would never say that.
Never, no.
No. So they land on top of this castle, and then suddenly there is a dragon who is also comic relief dragon because one minute he's spewing fire, the next minute he's like, "Oh, you poked me." So,
Right.
So she
And we should mention, he looks like not like a dragon. He looks like a fantasy T-Rex in a vest.
Yes, he does. Yes. So Gwen calls out for help, and then that's when Drake appears. And
Riding a horse.
yes, well,
Wearing
again, it's supposed to be
magic
dreams.
armor, yeah.
Well, that's what Gwen says. She says, "Where's thunder?" Like, I
Uh-huh.
thought, and then he's all like, "Oh, there's plenty of princesses to save," after he's quote unquote vanquished the dragon by poking him in the butt.
And she's like, wait a minute, I'm the only princess around here.
Yes. And so then it clears, and then suddenly Gwenevere is lying down, and Sunstar's like, "You fell asleep." And then she's like, "I had the weirdest dream." And then she has this idea that she wants Drake to come to her. Again, I think it's mixed signals. I mean, at the end of the day, who do we feel sorry for? Like, do we feel sorry for Drake, who's been turned down by these girls, and yet she's playing with his emotions? Because it's like one minute she wants him, and then in the next minute, when she actually is able to get him, she doesn't want him. I mean, story of my life over here, but
But I think also the entire relationship with Gwen and Drake, at least in the first season, is this push and pull. And, this episode's kind of the last time we see that. We saw it in
Wizard's
Peak and obviously Love Struck, and, we see bits and pieces of it here and there, but nothing probably so strong as this episode.
So now she wants Drake. So then she tells Sunstar to go and fetch him, with the instruction to say that she needs rescuing.
Yes.
In which case Sunstar is like, rescuing from what? Like, are you hurt?
Sometimes Sunstar is very literal, and I really like it. Are you hurt?
So then Gwen is like, no. Like, I just want him to come to me, basically.
Tell him it's some surprise.
Exactly.
Sunstar's like,
surprise
okay.
rescuing. Right. Again, very Ronnie-like.
Uh-huh.
So then Sunstar flies away, and Gwen starts walking through the weeds, thinking, where can a girl go to get rescued?
Where does somebody go around here to get rescued?
And she happens upon what doesn't really look like a mall. It looks like a My Little Pony palace, but apparently it's supposed to be a shopping mall. So she walks in, and she's greeted by an announcer.
Back Rainbow Falls and shopping malls.
Maybe that was the Rainbow Falls shopping malls. Who knows?
Maybe.
Who knows? So then a disembodied voice announces to her that everything is free in the mall, basically anything that she wants. So
Ladies,
again, this is...
if you like it, it's yours. Today only.
So again, to say that this is a dream. So she's running around, and it's that classic Carrie Butler laugh that...
Yes.
That E on the end of her laugh. So she's running around. She grabs a whole armful off of a clothes rack. And then she's stopped dead in her tracks in front of a portrait of a man and a woman who are supposed to be married. It's their wedding photo. And suddenly it transforms into Gwenevere and Drake. Gwenevere is wearing, since we mentioned it before, she is wearing her Love Struck outfit, but it has been repainted in a white color to be a wedding dress, which I never picked up on until today when you told me that.
Yeah, I had not picked up on it until now, like this watch through, and I was like, 30 years later, I'm only now noticing that this is a palette swap. What?
You're always going to notice something new, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so the design for her wedding dress is the same as the pink dress that she wore in
I
Love
have to
Struck.
say, it looks a lot better in white.
It looks better as a wedding dress.
I think so.
I mean, to me, nothing looks better than obviously pink. But, I'll let you have your opinion. So then, after she's supposed to it's alluded to the fact that she has asked whatever magic it is, like, what will my king be like? And then it reveals to her that it'll look like Drake. And this is not the first time that we see that. This is also going to be seen again in the second season as well during a fortune teller experience.
Mm-hmm.
So then suddenly Queen Anya is in the shopping mall and she's
She does.
Right, she just appears. And she warns her daughter that things are not always as they appear and to beware, and that one minute you think that you're in a fantasy and the next you're in a living nightmare.
Within a nightmare.
And then Corinne Orr, both as Anya and as Kale, appears now as Lady Kale. So we're then supposed to understand that Kale somehow has manipulated the dream, and suddenly Gwenevere is a cashier, and she's ringing up Kale, who is putting things on the conveyor belt.
Kale, who is in a shopping cart pushed by Grimm.
Grim, yes. And Gwen is wearing this, like, I don't know, she's almost like a Harvey Girls outfit.
Yes, I'm like, no cashier in the 90s wore clothes like that.
Right. It's like, are you serving ice cream or are you ringing people up? I don't know.
Like, you gonna go to the soda pop shop next, hon?
Yes. But she looks like she's a soda jerk dressed. Well,
she does.
A girl's
yes.
version, not the men's version. But she just looks out of the element. And then there's this random store. I don't know. Maybe they were thinking KB's. I have no idea. You know, you've got a random
it's
retail
like the
chain.
Five Below of Avalon.
Right. And she comes across the jewel box and she puts it on the conveyor. And Gwen is horrified to see that the jewel box is for sale. And that's Merlin's jewel box. And then she's like, maybe I'll buy a little trinket to put in it. And then in a blaze of light, Gwenevere wakes up again.
Oh, we should say when she says about the trinket is when you first see the jewel of the Dreamfields appear in the episode.
That's the one that she picks up, yes. And then Kale laughs, and then Gwen wakes up. Was it in between or before? I don't remember. But Sunstar has gone to Drake and has asked for his help. And Drake has declined, saying, oh, like, I'm supposed to run every time she breaks a nail. Come on. Like, basically, get real. Get out of here. I'm not going to go running after her. Which, again, is so just anti what you would do. Because, I mean, I've dated men like this before where they want to give you their attention. And if I called you and I said, hey, I need rescuing, I know of one of my suitors, at least, who would be there in a flash. I mean, then I know other suitors who would have let me die because they're just so disinterested.
You would have had other suitors who said, oh, it's a little game.
Right, exactly. So I guess it's just like, okay, Drake, so what do you want, really? Because apparently you don't even know what you want. So Sunstar comes back to Gwenevere, and she's disappointed to find that Drake has not come. And she says that she believes that this is that her opportunity to find the jewel of the Dreamfields, and that now she's going to venture out and find it herself. And this is where the storyline for me gets a little foggy. Can you help me out?
I believe it next takes us into the...
Is it the
friendship ring
ceremony? Okay,
dream.
I thought it was. I wanted to make sure. So this is going to be where, again, we're supposed to feel like it's a dream, but Gwenevere walks into the friendship ring, and there is Merlin, and he tells her that the circle must turn and that it's time for a new jewel rider to inherit the Sunstone. And then
16-year-old Kale appears.
Yes, this obviously Kale character. I mean, even though she's been like youngified, like she's wearing her same red jumper and like all the same coloring. So then this little girl is like, I'm so excited. Like, I've always wanted to be a jewel
Corinne
rider.
Orr's doing her little high register voice, almost Cleo-like. I can't wait to be a jewel rider and take your place.
And then Merlin's very adamant. The circle must turn in a switch of hands, which we don't see. But Kale takes the Sunstone, and then Gwenevere is left with the Darkstone. And then it's revealed that Merlin is really one of the Dweezils. And then Guinevere is, who apparently, again, has switched jewels, has the Darkstone in hand. And when Kale announces that she now has the Sunstone, Guinevere says, like, who needs the Sunstone now? And we go to a commercial break, and then we come back, and it's kind of this fight between Guinevere and Kale.
Yeah,
and
so
Kale,
I think Kale is sitting. We come back. I think Kale is sitting on the throne in Queen Anya's like gown,
yes,
and Gwen comes up. Aunt Kale, how goes your dream?
and she's like, oh, like the Sunstone, like it can be mine, or like, we could work together to, to get the magic. And you're supposed to understand that somehow Guinevere is being manipulated by the Darkstone, and that her thoughts are becoming impure and they become tainted. And so, like, even when she is standing outside in the garden and they transform the garden area outside of the Crystal Palace into, like, Thornwoods, and Kale's like, oh no, it's supposed to be beautiful and harmonious. That's the way it's supposed to be. Or is it? I'm confused. And
then Gwen says one of my favorite lines here. Look at all these horrid flowers.
And she's just becoming, anti Guinevere.
So she's becoming Kale, and Kale is slowly becoming more like Guinevere as she holds the Sunstone, which I always thought was a really interesting,
take
idea
on the characters.
Yeah, it's a little bit of the Elphaba story for Kale almost, and I'm sure this episode is what triggered the people in the comics to kind of do a little bit of that redemption arc for Kale.
20 years later.
Yeah, and I mean,
it was 30 years later.
I also wrote a whole short story based on Dreamfields called Queen Kale that was like that whole like other imagined life of Kale.
You're gonna have to post that.
Yeah, I'll link that in the show notes. Of like, what if Kale had gotten the Sunstone?
There you go.
Just like this episode suggests. So kind of a fun.
You mentioned Elphaba, but I mean, it's even more so personally. What I was thinking was more Lord of the Rings. It's like Guinevere is almost like Gollum, like like having the taintingness of the evil thing that is kind of taking over your mind, essentially.
Right. It's the Darkstone is the One Ring, I guess.
Kind of. I mean, it's like it's impairing your vision. You know what I mean? And
yeah, it twists your thoughts toward evil.
Right. So then the jewel appears above them floating, and they're both reaching for it, and they can't get it. And then in a flash, we're transported again to the next scene.
Well, wait, isn't it?
What?
Isn't it during Kale and Guinevere's fight that Sunstar, Tamara, and Fallon appear?
Oh, yes. That is where they come in. Yes. Which takes them to the next one. But then they basically are saying, like,
they're
being
telling
wicked
Gwen,
is like Kale. You're not like Kale. And then she's like, Sunstar, get out of the way.
But in the end, Gwen starts to overcome it, and she's like, this is not me. Kindness and consideration for others. That's real magic. And I was like, when did this turn into an special program? PSA.
Yes. And then even I think Tamara or one of them says like, oh, there can only be, when Guinevere says that there can only be one queen. And then she's like, you will be queen, but you can never be like Kale.
Yes, you don't be cold and cruel like Kale.
So then that's when it gets to the next scene. So yes, she has been changed, I guess you could say. She had a change of heart. And then we go to the next minutes. Scene. Exactly. And now the girls are in their love-struck costumes again. And they are
We're back
dancing.
In the friendship ring.
Yes. And the Dweezils are dancing with each other. And Kale
Grim is dancing with
Kale.
Tamara and Fallon are dancing together.
And Drake has appeared to dance with Guinevere to save the day. And they all dance.
Wearing a new costume for him, which is the costume from the painting.
It's the wedding outfit.
Yeah.
And They all dance because apparently dancing saves the day. If a Disney movie didn't tell you anything, that's what happens.
Yes, they're gonna
You
put
guys
on a
can
show.
dance. Exactly. So they all dance, and the jewel appears, and it kind of gets batted around by different means throughout the dance until finally Kale has the opportunity to reach for it. And then we think that there's a character arc because she suddenly hesitates and is like, oh, it's out of my reach. And then she walks away. And then that gives an opportunity for the jewel riders to grab the jewel, to place Merlin's key to it, to put it back in the jewel box, and for Merlin to appear where he tells them that this is indeed real, it's not a dream, and that it's as real as the friends who love you. But then
He also says the jewel of the Dreamfields represents the magic of love, and I'm like, but isn't that what the Heartstone is?
Do they say that that's the magic of
Yeah,
love?
that's he's like, it's a
really?
very special jewel. It represents the magic of love.
No,
And
I'm
like,
saying the Heartstone. Do they
I'm like-
specifically say that?
I'm like,
I
okay.
don't know. One of those.
yeah,
I mean, and it's like, to the Dreamfields, I don't know. I think that more the Love Struck episode would have matched better with the Jewel of the Love,
right.
personally. Anyway, so they had a dream, and they got the jewel, and they put it back, and Merlin is happy now. He's been appeased. They fed the beast. So now it cuts to the next end scene, and Kayla is apparently waiting around, just chilling, double parked in her dragon wagon. And Gwenevere comes up to her and it was like, oh, there's goodness in you. And one day that goodness will overcome everything. And Kale then
like,
is just,
That's the most horrible thing I've ever heard.
yes, and that someday's a long ways away. Take us out of here. And then we're all confused because we say, well, whose dream was that anyway? And suddenly, I think Batten's there as well. It's like, when did he get there? And everyone is asking, like, whose dream was that? And then Drake is sleeping under a tree. And he's like, oh, well, it was just a dream, right? Because obviously I would never want to actually marry you. Like, it was just a dream, right? The bro code, apparently.
Yes.
And then they're like, it's just a dream, yes, but a very sweet dream too, and this and that. And then, Batten's like, Gwenevere, what's going on here? And then everyone
He's like, are we all dreaming?
oh, more than you know. And then just everyone laughs, and then it ends, and then we're like, okay.
By the way, like, weirdly, Drake and Batten sort of, like, become friends at the end of this. Like, Batten put it there. And it's like, huh? Because you've both been burned by Gwenevere? Is that the club?
Who knows? And I don't think that we'll actually ever see Batten again, will we?
We actually do in the second season.
When? Oh, the same episode, the one that she goes to the christening.
The 8th Land of Avalon episode.
Yes. Oh, look at that. Wow. This is like the longest recurring, visiting character of all of them. Why'd they choose him?
Who knows? Let's just be glad it wasn't Murray the Troll.
Yeah, but we would have rather maybe it been Wisp or someone.
Yes.
Although there will be a recurring character coming up here in 2 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
So, Jewel rating, what would you give Dreamfields?
Dreamfields is one of those funny episodes where when you watch it, it's like, sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not. But I do like all of the character work between Gwen, Drake, and Batten. I think it adds a lot to the Gwen and Drake relationship. I also really like that it gives us a glimpse of sort of a future for them. And I do kind of wish, like, there's so much potential with this episode, which is why probably I ended up writing a whole fan fiction about it and based off of it. It gives you those hints of, like, development for Kale. So, like, from a lore and world building perspective, it's really good. From like a launching fan fiction perspective, I think it's also really good because it gives you those little breadcrumbs that fan fiction authors really like to follow on.
And it also gave us a doll as well.
Yes, and it gave me one of my favorite, Gwen outfits from the show. So, I mean,
So much
I'd-
praise.
I know. It's like, I'd probably give it a 4, probably maybe a 4.5 if I can do a half.
Half jewels.
I
half
know. We
carrots.
we don't do half jewels very often.
But Chris is going to do 4.5.
I'll do 4.5, yeah.
Because why? You don't want to really give it 5, but like you feel like it just deserves a little bit more than 4.
Yeah. It's not like it's definitely one of my favorite episodes of the first season.
I'm just going to say, why not a 5 then?
Sure.
Okay.
Just give it a 5. Okay.
Huzzah! Chris is being generous today. I'm going to give it a 4. 4
Okay.
jewels. Yes, 4 jewels.
What do you like and what do you not like with this episode?
Well, I like the Sun Power Gwenevere. That's what I really like.
That's the main reason.
yeah.
She's 3 out of those 4 stars.
I mean, I like that. I like the gimmicky, like going to a shopping mall. I like the fact that we saw a wedding picture. Like all those things are what I do like. I think at the end though, I hate to say it, but I think it doesn't get 5 stars because Tamra doesn't get a bigger part in it.
The truth comes out as usual.
Maybe that is what it is.
You didn't enjoy seeing Tamra on a Drake date.
I mean, that was fine, but it didn't have my favorite characters in it.
I'm not sure how Archie feels, but I'm having fun.
Because he's babysitting. So there you go. So we've got a 5 jewels from Chris and a 4 jewels from Ronnie.
Excellent.
I think that now we're ready to almost wrap up the season.
Yeah. We are starting in on the final 2 episodes of season 1. We're going to start with Revenge of the Darkstone.
Which is technically part 1.
Part 1 of 2. It's really, if this was Jewel Quest, it would be Jewel Quest Part 1.
Right. But they named them differently for reasons. They didn't do part 1 and part 2.
Yeah, so let's see. So this episode aired November 26, 1995, written by Robin Young and Christopher Rowley.
Robin Young again.
Robin Young, one of the most prolific writers on the show.
Yeah, and they're actually going to write the next episode as well. So together they collectively wrote this finale. So while the Jewel Riders try to find the last crown jewel and complete the magic of Merlin's jewel box, Kale sneaks into the jewel keep at the Crystal Palace. Using other enchanted jewels found in the keep, Kale constructs a dangerous device that releases anti-magic. When the Jewel Riders find the 7th crown jewel, Kale magically transports the jewel to the jewel keep and into her hands. She then uses the anti-magic to destroy the magic of the enchanted jewels worn by the Jewel Riders. The Jewel Riders are helpless to stop Kale from taking over the Crystal Palace.
Dun dun dun. Interestingly, no real mention actually of a huge part of this episode, but we'll get into that.
Oh, now I'm interested.
What's Morgana's lair?
Oh, okay. Yes.
All right, so this episode opens, carriage coach is pulling up to the Crystal Palace and figure emerges. You can see Kale's boot, of course. And the guard is like, "Oh, Queen Anya, we didn't expect you back so soon." And
I will say, it's one of the better animations of the foot stomp, the heel stomping down on the flower. Just wanted to throw it out there.
Yes. So the thing is that she's wrapped up in this huge robe and a face veil and scarf. Something you never see Anya wear in the show.
But it's because it's blue. So obviously it's her.
Yes. And of course, both voiced by Corinne Orr. The quote-unquote Queen Anya goes into the front doors and she beelines for a tower elevator. And once in the elevator, she takes off the disguise, and of course it's Kale there. So they ride the elevator. So this always leads me to wonder, is every corner of the Crystal Palace tower an elevator?
Who knows? I mean, there is that, not construction piece, but like the blueprints, like what we have that shows the interiors of the Crystal Palace. You would have to consult that.
Yeah. Just like shopping malls, Avalon has elevators. And so Kale rides it up, lets her out basically in one of the arms that extend from each tower corner to the central jewel keep crystal that hovers above the palace.
And we should also interject here because she says later, but I guess we were just meant to assume, but like she knows where she's going because apparently she grew up in the palace as well.
Yes, and just remember, like, this was her home
Which
before.
means that Anya is the sovereign and she married Jarrett to, and he became king then when she was already going to be queen. Unless he was a prince from a neighboring kingdom, which again, that begs the question of which areas are there? Yeah, where?
Exactly. So from there, we cut to the jewel riders cleaning Merlin's cottage. Basically, since they only have one jewel left, they're like, well, I guess we should clean up the mess when we first found Archie here 10 episodes ago.
Right?
When the Dweezils trashed your cottage and we just never came back to clean it up.
I mean, how many years later, you know?
So, they're looking through Merlin's stuff, cleaning. And then, Archie complains that Merlin can't throw anything away.
And then he just spreads the debris that he just swept
yes,
up from the...
kills me. It's like the dust from his dustpan just flies back all over the room. It's like, good job cleaning, Archie.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the babies left alone in a back room start messing with things. They end up knocking over an entire bookcase to get to this glowing orb on top of it.
Which... I was thinking about it because when they're reaching for it, Spike is like, I don't know what it is. It's some sort of magical doohickey. And I'm all like, doohickey? Like, was that a 50-year-old writing this 90s thing that grew up in the 50s?
Exactly. Those little doohickeys.
Exactly. It just made me laugh listening to it.
Yeah, so obviously, crash, bang from the back room. They rush in to make sure everyone's not hurt, and...
Which miraculously they aren't.
Oh, yeah, like a bookcase falls on your cat, it's going to be a bad thing.
Right.
Behind the bookcase, though, is this alcove in the wall with a series of rolled-up maps with different markings on them, one of which is marked with the Darkstone.
Now, it's a generic shape, but one of them looks like the Time Stone.
Yes, I did actually pause and review that. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh, are any of these
the actual
wizard jewels from the second season? And yes, the Time Stone was the only one that I could really see that looked the same.
But again, because that's such a
pretty generic
it's just
shape,
an hourglass style, but I thought I had to point that out. Yes.
So the jeweler was like, oh, why would Merlin keep these just random maps secret? And of course, Sugar picks up the orb and accidentally drops it on the map that they have open. It projects the lands of Avalon, and they're like, well, I don't know what exactly this is for, until they move it over the jungle, where they start to see some inscriptions pop up.
Which... two things here. First thing, they grabbed the Darkstone one. So the Darkstone one was in with these other scrolls. Later, we will find out that the Darkstone is a wizard jewel, and that's the reason why it was there. But that's the scroll that they open up. When they are going over them, my roommate actually asked me to pause it because we were watching it together, and he wanted to look at them. And he said he didn't recognize some of the writings, but... when it moves over the layer that you're about to talk about, he said that it's actually Greek, but it's gibberish. Like, it's not actually written anything, but it's actually Greek lettering, apparently.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. He could translate it for you if you wanted. We could include it in the show notes.
Just
but
gibberish.
It is.
Greek.
That's what he said. It is.
That's so funny. They see, the sun, moon, and heart stone symbols arranged in a pattern. And so they set their own jewels up in the same pattern. And then it projects what looks like the Darkstone, basically, in that area.
As like a triangle.
If you take the Darkstone and you turn it on its 3 long points to stand as like a TP sort of shape.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good explanation.
And then they see there's, writing under...
Greek.
Greek writing that Fallon somehow reads as Morgana's Lair.
This is kind of like in the Wizard's Peak episode when Gwen walks by and she's like, walk this way. And just conveniently.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like... that was a missed opportunity to remember that Gwen is the one who's supposed to know old languages.
Oh yeah, because she studied from her mother's scrolls.
From Anya, yeah.
Well, apparently Fallon's been studying up as well.
Yeah, maybe Queen Anya gave up on Gwen and started tutoring Fallon instead.
Fallon. I see
Seemed
more
like a
prospect
more
in
promising
this,
student.
right? Than my daughter who just dances and flirts.
Yeah. And then Archie tells them, oh, who's Morgana? And he's like, oh, she's one of the ancient wizards Merlin banished from Avalon centuries ago. Of course, this is another Arthurian connection to the show. Morgana Le Fay from the Arthurian legends.
Or Morgan.
Morgan Le Fay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so they see a few more symbols. Like, this is a symbol that says wild magic. It's just like a diamond inside of a circle.
Yes.
And I'm like, since when was that the symbol for wild magic?
Right.
I guess it's the floor of a travel tree ring, now that I think about it.
No, I didn't think of that. They do have that on the floor of the travel tree ring, don't they?
Yeah. Look at us noticing things.
Again, 30 years later.
And then there's an arrow. Tamara's like, is that a portal or a door? And then Fallon's like, well, anything beats waiting around for the Jewel of the Jungle to just show up. So they leave Merlin's cottage, still a mess, I might add, with the bookcase on the floor.
Well, they got something to do now, because before they were bored. So
exactly. Now we got a thing to do.
So they're
So we cut back to Kale going to the Jewel Keep. She has an altercation with the guard when she tells him to open the door to the Jewel Keep. And he's like, Queen Anya, only you know the code. And then she blasts him, and her and the Dweezils kind of like flip out inside the Jewel Keep looking at all the cool stuff.
I don't know if it's here or not, but this is also where we picked up on some of the jewel design. So when we were kids and we were making jewels, we made the Firestone and the Lightning Crystal as part of our jewel collections.
Yes, and
I think we had ideas that maybe those might have been enchanted jewels, like we made them into like writers who had those or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think those, as Kale starts to explore the Jewel Keep, I love it in the script. The Jewel Keep is described as a magical Tiffany's vault.
This is also the first time that we're seeing the Jewel Keep, isn't it?
Yes, I believe so. We come back to the Jewel Keep a lot more in the second season.
Oh yes, but this is the first time, so maybe they were just
first time
still redesigning it and designing it into what it's supposed to be.
To me, it looks like a jeweled nuclear reactor control room. There's like this central column with like basically jewel keyboards on it and like jewels that you could press like big buttons.
Right? Like Star Trek, you got to press the beep loops.
Exactly. It's like the warp core from a Star Trek show. And so Kale fiddles around with it. There's these long sort of tubular crystals that you can insert
I'm sorry, I just anyway.
Totally tubular.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So these long crystals that she's using.
Crystals that she can twist and take out.
Now she also does the twist, huh?
She's doing the twist. We are in the 50s now after doing it.
Exactly.
So yeah, you're right, like this is where they see the lightning crystal and the Firestone. So Kale's fiddling around with the Jewel Keep, trying to experiment and learn more magic, and we cut back to the Jewel Riders in the jungle on the map where they saw Morgana's lair entrance before. Moondance can sense something, and so can Sunstar, but the girls can't. Tamara has the idea. She's like, well, not every crown jewel we found created a wild magic outbreak, like there was none in the desert. And then Gwen was like, oh, well, that's because the desert jewel landed in Fairyland. So it's funny that like we're going back to referencing Fairyland again.
Well, I just like the fact that they actually reference things, because I did think about that in this episode. This is not the first time that they will mention things like that, but like it's kind of like a recap. So it's like, oh, like if you don't remember, like this is what happened previously or something like that. Like I appreciated that they actually talked about a previous episode.
They're those little bits of continuity that are sometimes like, you wouldn't necessarily see that in another show of this era.
Right. Because that was more just, do the storyline and then move on, but being that this is supposed to be one continuous storyline.
The girls have the idea to, tune their jewels into the same pattern that they were when they looked at the map with the projector, and they open a portal and they can see something's inside, and out of the portal comes the 20-foot tall Darkstone TP. Tamara's like, it looks like the Darkstone. So they decide they'll walk inside. And Gwen's like, well, I don't think Morgana would mind, considering she's been gone for a few centuries.
Well, that was exciting.
Exactly. So it's like they walk in, you expect something to happen, and then nothing happens. And then, boom, they're pulled through into the portal. So
we're supposed to know they get transported through the wild magic.
Yeah. So cut back to Kale, magic stuff happening everywhere. Oh, hilariously, in the script, it actually does say Kale plugs in different jewels, arranging them in patterns, turning them like tubes. It's actually in the script. That's hilarious. So, and another callback, Rufus and Twig are talking in the scene, and Rufus is like, I'm in smelly heaven. Twig's like, ooh, any magic hats? And Rufus is like, no, but look at this cool jewel armor. I'm like, ooh, magic hats. That's like a reference back to Wizard's Peak.
But also, they're saying that they're wearing jewel armor. So does that mean that there's physical jewel armor for the girls just laying around somewhere?
Right.
So
I was like, I thought jewel armor was something that your jewel generates for you.
Right.
And here they are wearing random jewel armor pieces.
Maybe it was just armory that they found and not really jewel armor. I don't know.
Yeah. Kale, at this point, actually, invents a freeze ray using the Darkstone mixed with the Jewel Keep, and she freezes Rufus and Twig. And at this point, right after she invents the freeze ray, of course, the guards, Anya, Jared, and the pack come into the Jewel Keep, and Kale freezes all of them. This is where Jared was like, well, how did you get in here? It's like, Jared, did you forget I grew up in this palace? I know my way around, don't I, sweet sister?
And then she also says the line.
Oh, yes, well, you have to do this.
She says, okay, so Kale, as a character, clenches her teeth together and is speaking through her teeth. And ever since I was a child, I always mimicked it with my teeth closed, too. But she says, Anya, your reign as queen is history. And so are you. And because you can't see it, I just did that without moving my lips. And that's amazing.
It's like, how can we yell through our teeth?
But also, this is another part where it's funny because I was thinking about this. In Jewel Quest, the boys get out of the fight because they get lost in kind of the pursuit when the carriage is going fast. And then they get left behind because all the thorn woods close in and the thorn trees stop them from moving forward. And then they come in at the last minute to help save them. As we'll talk about later, there's other episodes where the boys also start out in the fight and then they get left out. It's almost the same thing with this, though, because it's like they were the first responders. They were there. And it's almost like, okay, how do we get rid of the pack easily so that way they're not part of the fight? Did it feel that way to you?
Oh, yeah. It's like, it's funny because Drake comes in with the king and queen, and then suddenly they're all there to be frozen in the next shot. And I was like, wait a minute. You couldn't even do a, one got away or whatever.
Right.
I mean, I get the storytelling reason why they choose to do it. It's to put the girls into the most, perilous situation possible where they don't have any help.
It's just funny to me because it's almost like, the boys are still supposed to be jewel riders. They're still part of the storyline. But every time that there's a finale, they suddenly are never part of it.
They just disappear. Yeah.
Exactly.
We'll talk about that when we get to the end of the second season, too, which is one of my huge pet peeves.
Yes. And for the series finale.
Yes. Kale is, still working on magic when we cut. After she's frozen everybody, when we cut to the girls in the darkness. So, they know they've been transported, and then Gwen lights up her sunstone, which, for the first time, it's like, oh, look, the sunstone helps you see in the dark. And they see a gargoyle statue, which freaks out Archie. And then they can tell the crown jewel is further in. They enter this huge sort of ballroom meeting hall with a large mirror floating up, above it. And so they start to walk across the room, and it's kind of a cool little description in the script here. The room is backlit by the wild magic just outside the walls. Looks like strange colored outer space with swirling nebulas and pinpoints of twinkling lights that could be stars or jewels.
Sounds a lot cooler than what it is.
I know, it looks very like nothing you don't really see through the windows in this version of it.
Right, and then later when you finally do get outside, it looks like floating cookies. The meteors or whatever they are. Asteroids.
Yes. So the girls remark, like, oh, we were transported through the wild magic without travel trees. And then suddenly the image of Morgana, the wizard, appears in the mirror and starts reciting, this old plan of Merlin wanting to bring all the wizards into the friendship ring and bind their magic together for the good of Avalon. And, destroy Merlin. They were going to, turn that magic against Merlin with the Darkstone and destroy him. So again, it's like, whatever happened to the wizards? This is in some ways, this is some callbacks to like Wizard's Peak. So, and this is where they learn for the first time that the Darkstone is the jewel of Morgana the wizard. And she had tuned it specifically to destroy Merlin. So that's why Kale had such an easy time in the beginning of the show blasting Merlin into the wild magic. So
it's a lot of like, not world building, but kind of just backstory in this episode. It's almost like the reverse, but of like Jewel Quest Part 1. Like it's, instead of building characters, now we're building storyline of which they could have inserted all these things into episodes leading up to this, but they decided to kind of leave it to the end to suddenly put all the pieces together.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I like unabashedly love this part in Morgana's lair because it's like just the satisfaction of all of these like mysteries sort of popping up and the storyline starting to gel together. It's just like, I love stories with like really rich, detailed backstory that will like carry through to the main story. And this, it tickles my fancy.
Mm-hmm.
So the girls go and pass through the main hall into like a treasure room. And oh, I'm sorry, before that, we go back to the Jewel Keep where Kale has opened her own radio station, KALE, where they play all the hits all the time and playing the oldie but goodie Freeze Me and I'm Yours Forever. And so this is Kale basically starting to use her freeze ray on the people of Avalon and like random animals
And I will also say, in case people don't know, all radio stations actually do start with a K. So
is
it
that
really
on the
actually
West
works.
Coast only?
Oh, it might be because like KISS, KISS or KIIS, all of those are like Cat Country. That's another one.
Yeah.
Or like all of them are Ks. So I'm not sure if it's a regional thing or not, but I just know that all of the radio stations begin with K, and so that worked.
Yeah, so it's like, it is for you children who don't know what the radio is anymore.
Yes.
KNBC. Yeah, so so in the scene, what's important is that Kale tries like a magical polarity reversal
I just actually found something I thought it'd be interesting for you to know. The FCC policy covering broadcasting stations limits them to call signs that start with a K or a W. With K, call signs generally reserved for stations west of the Mississippi, and W limited to stations east of the Mississippi. There you go. We found out.
Wow, it is like a West Coast more thing then.
Well,
okay.
it's anywhere
or a
west of the
Western
Mississippi.
U.S., yeah.
Yeah.
But considering that's where we grew up, that's where we knew what KALE was.
Right, and that's.
But now that I think everybody who lived east of the Mississippi was like, why does it start with a K?
See, there you go. That's a little fun story. All right, so Kale is taking over here.
Kale basically reverses the magic on the jewel box. So, when Gwen puts her key to a jewel.
We'll get to there. Yes, exactly.
We cut back to Morgana's treasure room, which looks like the Cave of Wonders from Aladdin.
Funny, my roommate also said that. He's like, oh, look, there's a rolled up carpet. I was like, is there? He's like, no, I'm just joking.
Yes. at the end of the treasure room, randomly, like a small pool lake thing. It honestly looks to me like, do you ever go into like natural history museums and they have those
Yes.
little
It looks like a
displays?
vignette.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, okay. She's just got her own little.
Her
So they find the jewel.
Yosemite Valley vignette.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes.
So in the pool, in the vignette, they find the Jewel of the Jungle. So Tamara was correct. It fell through the portal. But when Gwen gets the key out and touches it to the jewel and the key both disappear
Because Kale had rigged it that way.
because Kale had reversed the magic on the jewel box. And so everything then starts to fall apart in the wizard's lair.
As my roommate quoted, just like with Aladdin, touch nothing but the lamp. You
Exactly.
have disturbed everything. And then it's going to self-destruct.
Exactly.
Which
So,
also in the card deck, the special card for Morgana's lair does say in there that like when you remove something, it destroys itself and it reconstructs itself elsewhere. Because we will see it again intact.
I was like, seems like a real inconvenient thing for your house to do. But
Right? You're at home and you're like, oh, damn it, it's falling apart again.
yes, somebody took
Stole
something.
something. Yes.
But Morgana says, never remove anything from a wizard's lair. If you do, beware.
Beware. Yes.
And then they actually do call back again to the crown jewel of burning ice.
Right.
And they surmise that, yes, that was probably also a wizard lair.
Again, tying it all up.
Tying it all up.
Yes.
Yep. So the girls try to make a magic shield to protect themselves. But of course, you cannot protect yourself with a shield from the floor going out from under you.
It's to tell people it's a dome. Because we will actually see the shields in the next episode. But this one is like a dome shield.
Yes, it's like in Jewel Quest when Tamara creates the dome
Yes.
around herself and
herself from
Archie.
being-
Yeah.
By the fire. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Moondance, Tamara, and Fallon fall through the floor, followed by Gwen.
And then they're floating.
And then
in
they're
space.
floating. I actually have to say that this is one of my favorite scenes, the like fall from Morgana's lair into the wild magic and how they to like recatch their animals and then rescue Tamara. Like there's actually like the music flows really well with that sequence. And it's like you can actually feel like a little bit of peril, which is
Yeah.
not something you can always feel in this show.
And you were over there crying.
And I was like
so-
feeling emotional about it. I was like, oh my gosh, are they going to get Tamara? Like
30 years later.
30 years
spoiler
later.
alert.
So the girls are now falling through what looks like outer space and
With the
they-
chocolate chip cookie asteroids.
yes, with random asteroids, and they're like, we're lost forever.
Mm-hmm.
And Archie's like, we're doomed.
Until
Until they come across a tube through the wild magic.
just a random streaming tube. And then they know exactly what it is, apparently.
Yes, they know somehow from the outside, oh, it's a travel tree tunnel.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, number one, as a child, I'm like, you spent the entire show thinking riding the wild magic is riding through the travel trees.
Right.
And then now suddenly you're like, oh no, the wild magic is space. And the travel trees are just travel tree tunnels through that space.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, what?
And it's just kind of funny because when we do actually enter the travel tree ring, then it's the normal like, magic that you see, like what you're talking about. But it's like this at what distance though? Because if this is the wild magic, I guess it's just maybe this is just me thinking too hard about it, but it's like they don't technically have to be the distances because the wild magic is just endless. Like, it's just going from point A to point B, but I guess you never really thought that there was actually like a highway system that was attached to those entry points,
Yeah. It's like, oh, these aren't just transporters like in Star Trek.
Right. I mean, that's the thing is like, I just kind of figured like it's kind of like that. Like you enter the transporter and it dematerializes you only to materialize you into another place. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, we did see them riding through the magic and we know that they have to have jewels in order to be able to ride it. But it's just like, I don't know. Again, maybe I'm just thinking too hard about this, but it's just like, what is it that manages the distance of these tunnels? Like, how long are they? Because it's basically like me building something out in the sky and being like, yeah, this tunnel right here takes you from New York City to Los Angeles. But you're like, but does it have to actually go from New York City to Los Angeles in the
Right.
air? Or can it just be a certain length and it'll actually still take you there? I don't know.
Is this
Like,
the equivalent, basically, of those movable walkways in airports that
Right.
just get you there a little faster?
faster? Exactly. Yes. So you knew what I meant in my dilemma of trying to understand what this is.
Yeah, I think it's funny that it's like, okay, so the wild magic is super dangerous. So Merlin makes these tunnels that are also super dangerous to ride through it.
Right. And it
And-
wasn't thinking about the citizens of Avalon because you have to have a jewel in order to ride
Yeah,
them.
so you have to have a jewel to ride through these tunnels, through these dangerous tunnels, through the dangerous wild magic. But when the girls are outside of the tunnel, it's like calm.
It's smooth sailing.
Yeah. Once they catch Tamara and nobody's falling anymore, like they just move like perfectly through it.
Because they're gliding through space.
Uh-huh. And I'm like, so Merlin, you made something more perilous to go through the magic. Got it. So anyway, the girls and the unicorns blast their way into the travel tree tunnel, and then they ask the trees to save them, which they do, but the trees spit them out into New Camelot, where they can see, Kale's thornwoods have grown everywhere. And so they run to the throne room, where there, floating above the throne, is Kale. With
And she's
Merlin's
taken the
jewel box.
time to move all of her frozen
Yes.
bodies and line them up. And it's just like, why?
I know. And I'm like, so Anya and nobody's frozen in the same position that
Oh, that's
you
true, yeah.
froze them in.
Yeah.
So Kale just sit there and move them around like little puppets?
Like, okay, I'm gonna move them here. No, I gotta move them
Okay, I'm
there.
gonna push Anya's
then-
arm down now.
And then she straightened the clothing and like, like I just imagined her smoothing out the cape over the shoulders. Like, okay, now it looks good. Like, why did you do this? Why would you just leave them where they were?
I know, it just makes me laugh because they are really lined up like as if you're going into a museum.
Right. And this isn't the first time that also being frozen will become like a end demise.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll
Yeah,
get back
it's
to
a
that.
little bit of a echo to come later, yeah. Mm-hmm. So I should say her eyes glow like her toy in this.
Not yet. That's in full circle.
Oh, her eyes didn't glow here?
No.
Oh, well, somewhere here.
Chris thought that they did, but they didn't.
She has moved also the entire control box from the jewel key down to the throne room.
You're right, she did. That was a lot of work.
I'm like, girl, you got like a whole construction crew, or did you make the Dweezils move this for you?
Oh my gosh.
Above this now is this glowing sphere. The girls, fire their magic into the sphere, and what they don't know is that Kale has used this anti-magic to suck up basically all the magic of their enchanted jewels.
So essentially what the sword did in Love Struck is what she's doing again, trying to
You're right.
take away the jewel.
It's like they're trying
power.
to drain the jewel's power.
Yeah.
So Kale basically did this by mixing the Darkstone with the crown jewels. After she got the Jewel of the Jungle, she then has access to all the crown jewels. And then so she's developed anti-magic, and the episode ends, I command the Crystal Palace, I command the Jewel Box, and I command the magic of Avalon. Oh no! Ha ha ha!
And fun thing that we host here at the archive, if you are interested in learning more about this episode, obviously we have the script available to read. Something fun that we have here at the archive is access to behind the scenes of the recording session of both Revenge of the Darkstone and Full Circle. So that's May 2nd 1995 for Revenge of the Darkstone, which it came out November 26, 1995. So that tells you right there that from May to November, it went basically from pre-production to being in syndication, which I don't know if they were already starting to do the animation or if they waited for the voice actors 100%, because that's really quick to do all of this.
That's like 6 months or less for this to go from voice recording to on your television.
Right. And even then, if you have the script open, you can look at the date for Revenge of the Darkstone and Full Circle. But Full Circle's...
The script is dated 5/15/95.
Okay. So that's... Wait, how is that? Because the recording session for Revenge of the Darkstone is May 2nd. How is it also... Oh, wait, yeah, you said May 5th, right?
May 15 is the quote-unquote final.
Oh, well, I guess they were finalizing the scripts
maybe they did some pickup recording afterward for anything they didn't catch in the first... Or maybe there's just stuff that got cut, who knows?
Yeah, but then 6 days later, on May 8th, they recorded Full Circle. And as we know, 7 days later in real time, that also aired in November 26th, 1995. What is the date on the script for Full Circle? Do you have... Oh, wait, no, I said the wrong one, too. December 3rd, sorry. November 26th to December 3rd is Full Circle. December 3rd is Full Circle.
Okay.
But still, that's such a quick turnaround.
Yeah, the Full Circle script is dated 5/14/95.
So apparently they were still editing these things like a week afterwards. Apparently. Maybe I wonder if some of these things were ad-libbed. What they did was they went through and they...
Oh, yeah, potentially.
You know, and they added those ad-libs into the script so that way the animators knew what was happening. But then again, some of the scripts that we have are pre-recording session. They have to be because they mention like other people's random names, like how we said about Harmony, or, you know, about like the Love Struck. We talked about how the conjunction of the rhymes aren't the same as the final. So, so there you go. Just a little different.
Just a little difference.
Just a little bit. But still, so if you want to watch the behind the scenes recording sessions, that's something fun that we host here at the archive on our YouTube channel.
And I can link those in the show notes as well.
So,
all right.
the Jewel rating.
I'd probably give this one a 5.
I would too. Look at that. Unanimously, we both give it a 5 Jewel rating.
Yeah, for me, it's all these little canon bows finally being tied up and callbacks to different things, seeing Morgana's lair, learning a little bit more about the wizards. It's all like expanding the world and the universe of Jewel Riders in a really cool way.
Although my favorite scene with a Morgana lair is to come with that epic music and the epic opening.
Something you would reenact somehow.
Yes. I loved it. Okay. So 5 stars for that. So now we're on a cliffhanger here and we got to find out what happens.
Yeah. So we're going to go into Full Circle, again, written, like we said earlier, by Christopher Rowley and Robin Young. This originally aired December 3, 1995. The Jewel Riders must recharge the magic of their enchanted jewels by returning them to the Friendship Ring, the most magical place in Avalon. The girls must perform the Circle of Friendship ceremony as they did when they first got their jewels. With the jewels recharged, the girls must then enter the wild magic and find Merlin. Led by their friend, Kit the Prism Fox, and special creatures, special indeed, called magical gliders, the Jewel Riders find Merlin, but Kale has tracked them down. Merlin reveals the Crystal Palace itself is an enchanted jewel with great powers of goodness. The Jewel Riders must release the magic of the Crystal Palace to save Avalon. While Merlin holds Kale in the wild magic, the girls use Merlin's jewel box to release the magic of the Crystal Palace and save Avalon. But Merlin has sacrificed his magic staff that holds his jewel to throw Kale into the wild magic, and without his jewel, he cannot return home. The Jewel Riders discover that in accomplishing their quest, they are now tuned to the jewel box. This will give their jewels far greater magical power than they ever dreamed possible. They must now learn how to use these enhanced powers and continue their quest to bring Merlin home and protect Avalon. By turning the magic of the jewel box to themselves, the Jewel Riders have completed level 1 of their training. They are about to enter level 2. Is this a video game description?
And we never even knew that they were on level 1. Like, that really wasn't said, because also the whole point of the show was to collect the jewels to help Merlin return home. So it wasn't really like, oh, you guys are trying to master your, like, it's almost like Power Rangers. Like, oh, you suddenly left the classic iconic, suits that you knew to give us ninja ones, which we don't really like as much.
Right. Give us dinos.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do talk a little bit about the levels of things in the ancillary materials.
Bible,
yeah,
but not in the show itself.
No, it's never expressed as like you're graduating to another level of your jewel. It's just in the show it's always been like, oh, okay, you just have you're just inexperienced in your jewel and you need to learn more about it. And it's hard because you don't have Merlin.
And then begs the question of if they then become quote unquote wizards, or if they're tuned, the crown jewels are tuned to them, then that means that they're on level 2. So does that mean that this is the first time in all of history that a jewel rider has made it this far? Because Merlin has always maintained ownership of the crown jewels.
Yeah, it's like the jewel box and the crown jewels always tuned to Merlin, and Merlin made the enchanted jewels to, take care of Avalon, basically.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't think it was ever in the plan that the enchanted jewels were going to be tuned to the crown jewels.
Of course, I'm just saying, but like, when they're saying that they've completed level 1 of their training, that's, I think, misleading, because again, it's saying that they've completed level 1 of training, that this was expected or something like that.
Right. Like it's like you can't really have a level that didn't exist before.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Not a fan of the weird gaminess of that description. Like, you leveled up because you beat the boss character.
Right. All right. Well, that was such a beautiful synopsis. I mean, now let's break it down a little bit more.
Yeah, like this is the whole episode right here.
Right. So, as we said before, we cut off because Kale, who has moved all of her statues into the throne room, is now apparently in charge.
I just want Kale, like an art of Kale with a dolly wheeling Anya.
Yes. It's back to where she belongs or something. Yes. Setting them up. So it opens up with Kale basically gloating, like, oh, I have all the magic now. Now let me try to use it. But every time she tries to open the jewel box, Merlin keeps appearing because he's linked to the jewels. And so anytime that the crown jewels are called upon, he's going to appear. So her whole goal is to break this setting, basically. And that's when we cut to Merlin's house, which is still in shambles, apparently. And the Jewel Riders are just kind of chilling in the room. I
thought about this, and I was like, the first episode ends, they've lost all their magic, and they're in the throne room. Like, couldn't Kale just freeze them at that point? Like everybody else?
Or kill them. I mean,
it's like,
but she let them go, apparently.
She just be like, okay, bye.
Because she was happy that the jewels got drained, and she's like, well, now that you have no more jewel power, your game is up. So now just run away. Or something.
Just go.
Just leave my presence. Your ignorance upsets me. I don't know.
Exactly. It's like, huh. Like, right. I never really noticed that before, but here
also,
we are.
Someone like a Fallon or something who has a little bit more drive than just being controlled by her jewel, you would think that like she would pull some athletic stunt to try to like grab the key from Kale.
Yeah, like she could still try to physically get to Kale somehow.
Right. In which case, though, then there was a chance that she might have been frozen. So in their sorrow, the girls are just sitting around inside the cottage, not doing anything. Like how I was saying, it's like maybe they could have done something to proactively try to take back this palace. And Fallon even says that. She says, we'll storm the palace. And then she's told, well, without our jewels, we can't do anything, which is kind of a wrong message, because it's like you could still try something, like just because you don't have the proper weapons, like you still have your brain. Anyway, so Tamara's over here, and very Song of the Rainbow, she's just forlornly playing her harp to her dead Heartstone.
Well, I mean, I always assumed it was she was hoping that some magic might have been left in the harp that could, help her.
Oh, is that what you saw? Like you saw it as supposed to be like the wild magic harp or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I always interpreted it as.
Oh, no, I never got that.
Okay, you just thought.
Yeah.
I love that you just thought for 30 years she just decided to sadly play her harp next to the jewels.
That's exactly what I thought. I thought, what, is this a dirge for the jewels or something? I don't know.
That's too funny.
So then her funeral is interrupted.
Funeral for her jewels.
Exactly, is interrupted with what we can obviously tell are the babies, but to her it's some unknown
mysterious
source.
Voices.
Exactly, she's hearing voices over here, and they're calling to her.
The harp will do that to her.
Exactly. So then they go out, and then there is the calling from inside of a closet. And so then they're going to help this person come out of the closet.
Uh-huh.
So they're pulling and yanking and tugging. And finally the handle...
And then she says, 1, 2.
Exactly.
Just like Wizard's Peak.
And just like that, you just burst open.
Yeah.
And the babies come out of the closet. And...
I always had a feeling about them.
And...
A little dragon especially.
They're told, like, oh, we hid in the closet and got stuck in there. So you're telling me that when they apparently who were being babysat by someone, who knows who, that they saw what was happening and then they decided to run to the cottage and hide in the closet.
Yep.
Okay.
Future Jewel Rider material here, folks.
I mean, this also sounds a little bit like the Circle of Friends comic that we made, where they were pretending to be on like a battle and they were gonna pounce on Drake. If you watch that little cartoon that we animated on the archive, I think it's just similar, because it's like, what, were they like in a raid and then they decided just to hide? Like, so the babies have hidden, and since they were not in the palace at the time, they've been spared the fate of being set up inside the throne room like a museum piece.
Yes.
And through a series of conversations, the girls decide that the only way that they can save their jewels is by what Archie suggests, and that is basically doing a reverse Circle of Friendship ceremony. And they're warned that it could indeed just be that their jewels are sucked up into the void and not returned to them. Although we know that that can't happen, but that's apparently what we're supposed to believe. So,
quick side note here.
Yeah.
I would have loved for this episode to just extend across the whole second season, like Kale's in control of Avalon.
Oh, wow.
And the
very
girls have
He-Man or She-Ra, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been very She-Ra, the resistance fighting against the Horde.
I think you wanted too much out of the second season.
I just want something else.
Right?
No matter what it is.
Like, how can we redo this 30 years later?
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Oh, it is the anniversary of the second season this year, by the way.
Oh, no.
So there you go. We're just in time for that. So they go to the friendship ceremony, and now it's an opportunity but yet again, to do some callbacks to the previous episodes in a video montage that I've used for a couple of music videos that recap scenes from the different other episodes prior to this, all the other 12 episodes of the first season. And at the end of this heartwarming song that now has played, the jewels get sucked up into the void, And then they're kind of like, oh, our jewels are gone. But then Archie's like, but the circle will turn just as it did before. And yet he was the one that was telling them in the cottage that he's just an owl and that he doesn't know better and that he doesn't want them to take this risk because he doesn't really know whether it'll work or not.
I'm not a genius. I'm just an owl. I'm
But
like,
suddenly,
I think I need that as like my bio, like line.
But suddenly, he's very sure of himself, and he's like, no, the circle will turn. And so then, by the power of friendship, they use the tagline, friends together, friends forever, and the jewels are suddenly brought back. And then they do a thing that is different, because when we saw the Sunstone in Jewel Quest Part 2, it was this big meaty thing that split into two, and then the two halves are what made up the individual stones. However, in this particular scene, like they come apart by like a secondary one shows up behind it. It doesn't like
It's like
split
cell
in
division.
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And conveniently enough, even the heartstones like split into baby heartstones, and one even with a little locket on it.
Right. It's the I think it's Spikes that looks differently from the other two, right? Like
I'm not sure which one it is,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's like one of them just looks different. So we've got the jewels back again. Then
I will
they
say,
pour-
like watching that Friend
Did it
in
make you
You
cry?
like music video, I was like, I didn't cry, but I was like, I did feel very emotional, like when the jewels come back and they like get their powers back, and it's like the hope has returned. I was like, my gosh, I'm very maudlin in my middle age.
You know, the funny thing is that after you told me that you were emotional when I was watching it last night, I was like, okay, I gotta cry in this scene.
You don't have to.
And then when I was watching it, like, sure, I felt a little emotional, but I think maybe just watching it in front of my roommate, I was like, do I cry? Do I not cry? I mean, I cry in, other movies that we watch together, but it's just like, okay, what do I do? If it comes, it comes. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And the tears didn't come. So it was just this place in my heart that I kind of just felt a little like a little jab or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I wasn't like full on crying when I watched it, but definitely, like it's nice when you come back to something and you can still feel like an emotion that it made you feel before. So sometimes even a new emotion.
And I think that Feel the Magic is one of my favorite songs, aside from the theme song, but I definitely will probably say that this is my second favorite song. I like it.
Yeah,
Friend
it's
in You.
it's very slow,
Yes.
sort of sad.
I like it.
It's
do.
good. No, I mean, it's just most of the other songs are kind of peppy and upbeat from the show.
Right.
And this one is the more like introspective one. It's the what is the song Ariel sings in her grotto?
Part of your world?
Yeah, it's the part of your world. It's sort of like the longing and the
I can't believe that you didn't remember Part of Your World.
hey, I'm very tired and hungry at this moment.
Oh, sadness. So
Having a low blood sugar.
So after the jewels have been returned, then they are suddenly motivated again of, now we've got to take back the palace and we've got to destroy Kale and this and that. And so then they say, well, the only way that they can find Merlin is by going into the magic, but we don't know how to ride the wild magic, even though they were just in the magic apparently in the previous episode floating around. But they can't guide themselves through it.
Yeah,
So then
they don't really know how to get back into that point of the magic, I think.
So they need a guide. And
glide guide.
No. I was thinking more Kit, but yes, the magic gliders. But they say, oh, we do know someone who can. And then Kit the Prism Fox from Home Sweet Heartstone. So again, another character
So-
that reappears.
Side note, I saw this episode as a child before I ever saw Home Sweet Heartstone.
Oh, were you
So this was actually the
confused?
first time I ever saw Kit, and I was like, who's this?
Who's this little fox-looking
Who's
dog
this little
thing?
fox with this little voice? And
And then these creatures pop up once they call Kit through the wild magic that have come with her. The magic gliders, Nubbin, Muffin.
Nubbin, Floater, and Drifter.
Okay, see, I don't know their names. Thank you for knowing that.
Why do I know this? Why is my
I
brain
don't
storing this
know.
information? I will
Thank
say
you.
that in the script, gliders are named as Bobbles and Cuddles.
Oh no.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't think those names ever made it into the show, but
Little baubles over there.
Bobbles and Cuddles. I was like,
Oh, they're getting very My Little Pony names
they're getting
over
very
here.
seven dwarves, is what they're.
Yes. So they are led through the wild magic by flying through the magic. And what's stupid is that it's like before when we saw the wild magic, it was like space. Now suddenly when they're flying through it, it's like flying through the sky. And then the clouds part and they say, "Oh, it's a floating village," but all it is with a bunch of clouds with like classic cartoon window panes and door panes on them.
Yes.
But that's supposed to be the floating village. And then these cloud people that are dark clouds, but it's like, why are the houses multicolored, but then the clouds are all just dark clouds? They're all little rain clouds.
I was like, they're not mad. So the coloring is a weird choice. Because to
So-
me, like coloring them that dark shade would have been like,
Like an
oh, it's like a
angry
rain
cloud.
cloud. Yeah, like
Right.
you're gonna.
Exactly. So we've got these cloud people that apparently live in cloud houses as
I know,
well.
I thought about that too this time.
That's
I was
a little weird.
So you live inside of a replica of yourself.
Right. I mean,
Got
or
it.
are those real clouds and you're living inside, like, basically like a human living inside of a corpse? I'm just saying.
Ew!
We turned this totally differently.
I think we're reading too much into the cloud village.
I mean, this is just what came up when I thought about this when I was watching it. So, they say the jewel riders say, "Oh, we're looking for the great wizard of Avalon," and apparently the gliders found Merlin when he was floating in the bubble, never releasing him from the bubble, but they brought him in his bubble to this cloud village where now the jewelers are reunited with
They
him.
rolled him like a little hamster in a ball
Exactly.
to this cloud village.
Kind of like the one in Bolt. Yes,
Exactly.
Merlin has appeared now,
In a big
and
bubble.
he's still trapped. Basically, Glenda over here, traveling by bubble. So then he tells them about what they must do to regain the kingdom, and that they must use a very special jewel. And they are told that it is the jewel, the Crystal Palace. They say, in the Crystal Palace? No, it is the Crystal Palace. So,
It just raises so many questions.
well, that's a really big jewel, let me tell you.
I'm like, so where'd you dig that one up, Merlin? Did you just find it there laying around when you discovered Avalon?
maybe he chemically created it. I don't know.
Oh.
So maybe he used the dinosaur in the vest to move it.
Maybe that's what the binding spell on the wizards was supposed to do.
Was like create their one big
Create
jewel or
one
something.
jewel with the Crystal Palace, yeah.
Maybe. See, there you go. That's an idea. So then, out of nowhere, comes Lady Kale, and she's opened up a portal, which is also apparently she's able to see through. So she is now able to see them because she's using the, as you said, like the central machine, which she has moved back to the Jewel Keep.
You're right. It is. I didn't notice that, but yes, it is back in the Jewel Keep.
Yes.
She got tired of it obstructing her throne room.
So she moved it back again. I mean, I don't know if it works on itself because remember, she does have that relocating power to be able to relocate things. So
That's
maybe that's how
true.
she relocated the people. But how did the machine itself reproduce itself somewhere else?
Right.
So maybe that works for the people, but still the machine is questioning. So this is where that fun little toy piece on the dolls comes into play because Kale fires an energy blast at them, but to protect them, Merlin creates these shields for them, which we are supposed to believe, are the combs that are on the jewel-powered dolls.
The comb shields, yes.
So, but yet again, something is created for a scene so that way that either the doll can use it or the doll was created and then they had to put it in the cartoon. We don't know. But those shields will come up again, but it's just these are the first times that we've seen them and it's the end of the season. So there you go. We found the shield combs.
Yes.
And then Merlin redirects the magic blast that Kale was trying to harm them with, is blocked by the shields, and then redirects it to hit him. And it frees him from the magic bubble. So we're meant to believe that the anti-magic, isn't going to kill him, but instead it's going to release him. And then Kale and him get into a battle, in which case she is trying to...
Kale is literally pulled through her little portal.
Right, because Merlin pulls the key through the portal from the Jewel Keep because he knows that it is actually his magic staff, which we saw in Jewel Quest that the staff turns into the key. So now he pulls it from the Jewel Keep into the portal and down into Cloud Village. Then Kale, not wanting to lose, throws herself basically at the key and then is brought into the portal as well. Then
and
the
we should
Jewel
say
Riders...
that while they're fighting, the key does transform back into the staff, and the girls remark on it.
Right. So the Jewel Riders then are watching all of this happen, and that is when the key is transformed back into his staff, and then they realize, oh, we've had the jewel all along. It was the key. So then I don't know if they're, processing all of this, and it's like, oh, we could have brought Merlin back a long time ago, or what was happening. I don't know. But they are then shot up in a cloud into the portal, and they leave Merlin and Kale behind to fight.
Another emotional moment for me was with Archie, trying to go back to Merlin. I was like, "Aw."
And he tells them that he has to go with them because he needs them to stay with them. Yeah.
Those girls need a chaperone, and it's you.
We need you to protect them because they can't do for themselves, apparently.
Their virtue is at risk.
And they come back to Avalon where, everything is just a mess. There's Thornwoods, there's lightning, everything. They run into the Jewel Keep. They encounter the Dweezils in their little makeshift jewel armor. And then they are challenged, and one of the Dweezils says, I've got a smelly magic jewel, beware. And then he says, oh, it's just a pebble.
That's a pebble. Yeah.
That is not any pebble that I've ever seen. It's a golden, round-looking thing.
Yeah.
I thought he had a coin or something.
Yeah, it's like so if it's just a pebble, what's it doing in the Jewel Keep?
Exactly. Maybe he should have said, no, that's just one of the tubular stones.
Tubular stones. Uh-huh. He should have just brandished one of those like a sword.
So the Dweezils get frightened away, and the Jewel Riders then come on scene, and they're like, what do we have to do to activate the palace? And then they're like, we have to form a jewel circle. So there we are again with jewel circles and friendship circles and every other circular device.
Tubes and circles.
Exactly. All the little round things. And they hold hands and they've formed this jewel circle, and the crown jewels then appear to levitate out of the box and form this, I don't even know what it is, but
it's kind of a diamond, like a 3-dimensional diamond pattern.
But it's like they have like light rays coming out of them.
Yeah, like light rays appear, like one jewel's on the top, one on the bottom, and then the other, there's 7 crown jewels, right?
Yeah, so it's
5 of them forming like the sort of ring
base
around the middle, and it, forms like a Tron like light ray in between
but it's
each
like
of the jewels.
They just said that we need to tune the setting or something like that. But like, it's
They're
never
still
said that
trying
they
to
have
like
to
release the magic of the palace.
Right. So that's the thing that I'm saying is like they're just trying to activate the palace, but somehow the crown jewels are involved. And then they become this little portal thing that stretches open. And that is when, as you were mentioning earlier, doll line Kale appears with her glowing red eyes.
Yes.
So, but yet again, another toy feature that it's like, okay, was this created for the show or was the doll created and then the show just had to find a place to put that? So we've got glowy eyes Kale who walks in and then they yell at her, only Merlin can use the power of the crown jewels. It's too late for him and you've tuned him out and everything. And so she then walks into this jewel diamond portal with Merlin's staff. And we are meant to believe that the jewels are going to allow her to enter because it is Merlin's staff. Although, is this not like, I don't know, some sort of other recognition? Like, can whatever it is, the magic not know that this is really not Merlin, that this is a stolen staff? I don't know. This isn't very password protected.
Yeah. Could Gwen have just walked into it at any time with the key? Like,
Right. So then her whole plan backfires and it suddenly starts to shrink. And then we've got miniature Kale on the floor who eventually dissolves into
gets
magic.
Sucked up into the machine.
Right. So it's very Wicked Witch of the West. She melts away.
Mm-hmm.
And this is also where my roommate
gets atomized across the kingdom.
So this is where my roommate was like, "Oh, you guys should write a thing where it's kind of like Wicked, where really Kale didn't die." I was like, "Just wait till season 2." So Kale then, yes, as you said, like little atoms just get spread all over the place, and then the portal closes, and then the Crystal Palace heals itself. It shoots out these magic beams out at the entire palace and all around, and it clears it all up and cleans it up and says, "You thorns, you get out of here." And then suddenly the
Only bad
Avalon
palaces are ugly.
Exactly, yes. So then it's cleared up and we're back in the palace, and in the throne room everyone is waking up and the Jewel Riders run back in, and Gwenevere is ecstatic to see her parents alive. And this would have been a really nice time to also see the other parents of the Jewel Riders again, but we'll never see them again.
No.
Never.
They are gone.
And in their happiness, Merlin appears. And this is also something that I thought about too, is that in the first part of this season, in Jewel Quest Part 2, Merlin had a very direct, I guess, response to them. And it's like, this is your chance now. You guys have to... I see now that this was meant to be. Like, you guys need to find the jewels, and you guys are going to go on this quest, and you're going to do all this. But then now, when they say, Merlin, you've come home, and he's like, no, no wizard can ever come back without their magic jewel, which I guess is, again, spoiler alert for next season, but you got to know that apparently you have to have a jewel if you're a wizard. If you're anyone else in the kingdom, it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter.
Right, but apparently if you're a wizard, you have to have your jewel.
Well, I think this is supposed to sort of be setting up some stuff for season 2 where, all of the wizard jewels were locked out of Avalon.
Right. So then he says, don't despair. It's okay. It is what it is. I guess I'll
be around.
Right. Like, I'll leave.
And
you guys
then
got this.
He is sucked up into the ether like Wizard Jesus.
Yes. Yes.
He literally looks like those cartoons of Jesus being taken back to heaven. And I'm like, what?
So, and then he says, like, the jewels are now tuned to you. And they're like, well, what? What? And he's like, oh, it's okay. I'll be around. Don't worry about me. And it's just like, I don't know. I would have liked there to be a little bit more directive. Like, you guys have done it. Like, the crown jewels are now tuned to you. You don't need me. Or, I'm going to retire now. I'm going to go someplace and
Blast
kind of
me
like
to Bermuda.
Bermuda. Exactly. Yes. I don't know. It just, it ends awkwardly. And then it ends in another awkward scene where Anya in the throne room, not in front of an audience, not with the rest of the Jewel Riders' parents, not with anyone except the core 6 of them and their animal friends. And she says, the kingdom of Avalon gives thanks to my daughter and the Jewel Riders.
And then in the first shot, the wolves are alone on the sidelines. No pack, boys. Just the 3 wolves sitting there. And then in the next shot from above, the boys are there too. But I was like,
I didn't see that.
It made me laugh because I was like, oh, just got some 3 wolves sitting here on the side.
Right. I mean, you would have thought that maybe this would have been more of like a proclamation or a party. They love parties. How about a craft fair? I don't know, something. I mean, it ends with all of them together, and they're like, well, we know that the real power is jewel power, and then they say their tagline, and then these CGI jewels float into screen, and then it cuts. And I don't know, maybe I wanted more.
It's an awkward ending. It's like there's too many things that they're trying to wrap up, and it's like you haven't quite thought through the tuning the crown jewels thing. It's like, and the palace as a jewel.
Which, do we ever really?
No, we never really talk about the palace as a jewel.
Right.
From that point on.
Right.
Even though it's in the cards.
Oh, I haven't read it. I don't
it's
remember
in
that.
like, I think it's in one of the secret cards.
Right, there's a Crystal Palace one. I don't remember reading that. It says that it's why don't we just look this up? In the Jewel Secret cards, it is the last one. It says Merlin built the Crystal Palace as a giant enchanted jewel to resonate goodness across the land. From the palace, the king and queen conduct their business. Behind the palace in the enchanted gardens, there is a special ring of travel trees. So that's what it says.
Okay. There's also a special ring of friendship.
Yes, there's a lot of different things in there. Yeah. I mean, does the, not absence of a good ending, but like, does that ending affect your jewel rating?
Oh, I think it does a little bit.
What are you going to tell me?
Oh, I don't know. It's like the mechanics of how they beat Kale are a little all over the place to me. It feels like they don't really beat her like a Merlin trick twist beats her.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a little unsatisfying. I'd probably give this like 3.5 jewels.
I was going to give it a 3 as well.
It's just funny because I love Revenge of the Darkstone.
Right.
And Full Circle is just, aside from the friendship
song.
Ring ceremony part, which is really touching, like a lot of the rest of the episode, you're from the dumb cloud village, and this is the episode that brings us the pestilence of the gliders for a whole other season. And it's like there's just writer me wants to like go in and rework this episode a little bit. So yeah, 3.5, like maybe 4 if I'm feeling super generous.
Yeah, I give it a 3-star.
Yeah,
I mean 3 jewel.
3 jewels for me, probably. I'd lean more toward 3 than 4. If I'm going to round Dreamfields up, I'm going to round this down.
And it's funny because I will be interested to hear what the audience has to say. I mean, right now there could be someone be like, no, it's my favorite episode, or I love this, or it's the finale for the season. Like, you can't not, give it a good rating. But yeah, it just didn't do it.
If you take the 2 episodes together as if you were doing Jewel Quest, part 1 and 2, like, it lands it at a solid 4, which is good. Like, it doesn't knock it off into like bad territory necessarily.
Right. But there was just something different between the Jewel Quest episodes versus this, I think.
Jewel Quest is itself, a singular story, and it has an ending that you're so right. Like, I never thought about, like, the fact that Anya's giving them, like, awards in the Crystal Palace and there's nobody else there except the pack.
Right. There's no one in attendance.
It's like when you have Jewel Quest ending with the party.
Right. That's exactly it. Is that, like, everyone was invited to her ceremony. So why would you not do this? I mean, even in Fairyland, my favorite 5 Jewel episode, it's like, even then when the treaty was being signed, like, all the fairies were present, and then, everyone's there. And it's like, if even Odeon, like, this is a great chance for the fairies to have made another appearance. Or, I mean, this is thinking really blue sky. What if they had gotten all the characters from the first season and had them there, like, as a callback to all of them? Like,
oh yeah,
there was
Doc
Wisp,
and Charity,
there was exactly, but not
Gwenevere,
just them, but like there's Murray and there's Wisp and there's all of the characters that were affected by this first round of uncertainty when the wild magic returned to Avalon.
There's a dancing hippo.
Exactly.
Yeah, and no, that's actually a lovely idea. I really wish they had done that.
Yeah.
I think they were just out of time.
Out of money and out of time.
Yeah, they couldn't even animate the boys for one of the shots.
Yes.
Just wolves.
So now are you excited to move on to season 2?
I'm probably less excited.
Oh, but here we are. We're not there yet, but this year at least is the 30th anniversary of the second season of Jewel Riders.
So we'll definitely, we'll have many laughs along the way for season 2 because some of it is super hokey.
Right. But in the meanwhile, you can read the Kale story that Chris talked about, and if you also want to watch the behind the scenes videos of the recording sessions as well, those are the 2 things that we also talked about.
We'll link those down below. You can always check those out. And I hope you enjoy the recording session especially, because that's a lot of fun.
Yeah. I think it's just been fun to rewatch the first season. I think that there's so many pieces of it that I'm like, it's been a
long time since I watched the show itself. So this has been really fun. And I watched like the first part of it while I was moving, and it was like a nice distraction. So
very good. Awesome.
Yeah. All right. Well,
until we finish up the next part of the first part of the second season, we'll see how long those episodes go.
Right. All right. So of course, if you ever want to see more from us, you can always visit us at jewelwritersarchive.com or on YouTube at Jewel Writers Archive. And, be sure to check out all the many, 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 many hours of content that we have put together for Jewel Writers over the years.
Yes, there's so much to review.
So much. And as we always like to say at the end of every episode, friends together, friends forever.
Even
Thanks
through a
for
whole
listening,
season.
everyone, through the whole season, longer than the season itself. And we're done with these recordings.
Oh my goodness. Well, until we talk about the next part, I'm so excited to talk about Morgana because I love that opening.
I know you love it so much.
We're gonna enjoy it. Okay.
All right.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.